Hey, everybody, welcome to a GFQ special. This is our WWDC 2015 coverage. I'm Andrew Zare, and of course, I'm joined by John Bubb, my colleague, my one-man expert here on the WWDC coverage. How you doing, John?
Hey, what's up?
It's a small team this year. Just you and I. Just both of us going to do this year.
I don't even want to be here.
You don't even want to be here. You don't want to be anywhere. No, I think it'll be a lot of fun. You know, we love doing this. We see the chat room and we see what people are saying during the event and what people anticipate prior to the event and what happens during the event are very different things. And it's exciting, you know, regardless if you're an Apple fan or you're...
Because, you know, over the past couple of years, we've been almost to the point of being disappointed, I think, with these keynotes.
On and off, yeah. I think it's that both of you and I are both waiting for an Apple TV, and guess what? We're not getting it.
No, that's just the rumor was that we were finally going to get hardware refresh for the Apple TV and even a possible TV service. But according to, I think it was the New York Times or sources, talking to the New York Times, that the hardware and service is just not yet ready for prime time.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. And I believe the conference is beginning. Why don't we tap in? Nope, it is not beginning. That is a lie, guys. They're still playing Uptown Funk on the keynote feed. You know what it is for me? I understand that these events, and I've been saying this for years, we're not going to get these home run announcements like we've gotten used to since, I don't know, 2009. Every year there's been a tremendous announcement, a tremendous unveil, and because Apple was first to make these announcements...
Don't you even feel like what they have announced has been somewhat of a letdown?
It depends on how you look at it.
In the sense where, you know, you've been waiting for that upgraded MacBook for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And they really have not come out with anything that satisfies your expectations in that realm.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
I've been waiting for the Apple TV hardware refresh.
I had a discussion with...
and that's been several years.
I was talking to Nick, one of our friends here at the GFQ Network. He does a infection podcast for the game, H1Z1. And I was talking to him yesterday, and he's going off to college, and he needs a laptop, and it's time for him to get something new. And it's driving him nuts because he can't figure out what to buy, and he doesn't want to buy a 15-inch Mac to get a higher-end video card. But we are in the minority. We are a very specific user base for these products. So I think for the majority of people, that new Mac is a beautiful device. It's cutting edge. It's fanless. So for them, that is a great machine. For us, probably not so much. All I care about right now is the Mac. I want an Apple TV. And the other thing that I'm predicting now, which may not happen, but I'm predicting that we will see one of the features in iOS 9 in the next version of OS 10 will be that we could do a remote desktop, a remote screen on your iPad.
Sure. I mean, you can do that now with applications.
With applications. I'm saying natively. We're going to see that. So
yeah, I guess it's possible.
Yeah, that's my prediction. What are you guessing?
That's one of those things where I don't know if they would do it this time around for iOS 9, because with iOS 9, they said that they were going to focus more on polishing and correcting and smoothing over things in the operating system.
I'm going to say that's going to be the one big feature we're going to see today. I could be making that up. I have no proof that that's going to be the feature, but that's what I'm guessing we're going to see.
Well, I know for sure we're gonna hear about, you know, Force Touch, and we'll probably hear what I think they're calling proactive, which is the upgrade to Siri to make it more intuitive. And
which they have to, because Google Now is amazing, and there's a beta for an application by SoundHound. It's called Hound, and it kind of does. It's like a Siri and Apple TV type Siri and Google Now application, and it works unbelievably well. I mean, it's far more intelligent than both of them combined, even Cortana combined, which is a really good system. So companies are really stepping up the game when it comes to voice, and Apple really needs to kick it into high gear with what they're doing with Siri, because they've kind of fallen behind.
Yeah, I suppose so. I'm just not one of those people that ever uses Siri for whatever reason. I just don't the whole voice thing doesn't do anything for me. Voice commands, just telling things to be done by voice, just unless I'm texting and driving and dictating, I don't know that I see a need for talking to my phone.
So I don't use voice either. But what I do use is Google Now, and it works really well. Google Now works. It's so good at predicting everything that I'm doing and everything I need, to the point that I got an email for somebody else's flight, and it was giving me the flight information on when they were coming in. It wasn't even, here's an itinerary. It was just in an email saying I'm on flight so and so, and it knew. So when I needed to see it on my phone, it pulled it up. So things like that, it's it's pretty helpful. But in other cases, most people aren't. Do you really need to know the Mets score every second?
No.
You really don't. The event, by the way, has not started officially yet. There's a crazy long video intro happening right now that I'm not going to waste my time and play on this. On this, is there anything? I mean, you use your iPhone every single day. I'm an Android user, but I'm already engulfed, as I like to say, in the iOS experience. As you could tell if you're watching the feed, I have a MacBook, I got an iPad, I got even an iPhone as my secondary phone. So. But you use it a lot more. Are there features that you really wish you had that are lacking right now?
Oh yeah, but I'm in the minority with some of these features.
Like, give me one of the crazier ones. Like, give me one.
Well, it's not crazy, but I think the navigation for navigating messages is just atrocious. Every time that you get a new message, if you're a constant texter, if you're constantly getting messages. To switch between messages, you still have to go back to your message inbox and switch to the new message. I don't understand why I can't swipe left or right to get to a new message.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. That's such a simple, easy thing to implement, but they haven't.
Yeah, it's those little things, and that's why it's important for this release, this update of iOS, and OS X, OS 10, for both of those to be those bug fixes and those little tweaks that people have been wanting. We don't have to get these big revolutionary changes every year. And with that said, the event is starting. So why don't we go into the event, John?
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
And welcome to San Francisco. Welcome to WWDC 2015. Although we may not have any, thank you, high-flying trapeze acts, we do have a lot of great things to talk about this morning. This developer conference continues to be the epicenter of change for not only Apple, but the industry. This is our 26th WWDC. We have attendees today from over 70 countries.
And here comes the numbers.
Here comes the numbers.
Are here for the very first time.
They love these 20-minute numbers. I'm guessing they're going to spend another 15 minutes on how great the watch is.
350 scholarship winners.
We need like a real-life fast-forward button.
Yeah.
These guys are unbelievable.
Let's just jump through
I
this.
spent some time with them yesterday. Our youngest scholarship winner is a 12-year-old girl from New York. She is going to have a fantastic future ahead. We've got over 100 sessions planned for you and over 150 labs so that you can get your hands on our latest technologies. And we've got over 1,000 Apple engineers to answer just about any question that you might have.
Yeah, I mean, we can make a drinking game at this point with the cheers.
Here this morning, but unfortunately, we just can't fit any more in, as you can tell.
How many million transistors have they put into the device? That's what I want to hear about.
We're not only live streaming the keynote, but we're live streaming 30 sessions of the conference as well.
Oh, that's interesting, actually. I mean, that's a big change. If you're a developer, that's a huge thing for you.
Before we get right to the show, I'd like to bring up something that I saw on the news just a few days ago. This is Brandon Moss of the Cleveland Indians, and he hit his 100th career home run last Tuesday.
And he did it with the help of an Apple Watch.
Obviously, it's a huge milestone if you're a baseball player. Not a lot of people do this. And you can imagine how much that ball would mean to him to have it. But it turns out the ball was hit into the Indians' bullpen, and his teammates decided to play a bit of a prank on him. They decided to hold it for ransom. And this is the list of things they asked for: Apple Watches, iPads, MacBook Airs, iPhones. It's unbelievable. It's a shopping list for the Apple Store. Now, Brandon would have had to raid an Apple Store to get that ball back. That didn't seem quite right to us. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pay the ransom. And I have the ball right here. We're giving the ball to Brandon, and we're going to give everything his teammates asked for to them, so everybody's happy.
Wonderful.
So congratulations, Brandon, on 100 home runs, and good
Great
luck on
PR
the
for
Make
next
a
100.
list like that. And I'll get some Apple products.
Yeah. Do you want to make an Apple product list and send it to me?
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
got
Yeah,
a
I'll call
jam-packed
Tim.
morning for you. We're going to get started
Or
with
he likes to be
OS
called
10.
Timmy.
We're bringing a whole bunch of new
I
great
mean, you're
capabilities
technically
to
holding
the
me hostage in your
Macintosh.
basement anyway.
Yeah.
And next, we've got a great update for iOS,
There we
the
go.
world's most advanced mobile operating system. And today, we're bringing native apps to the watch with a new version.
God, I'm going to be loaded if this was a drinking game.
With a new version of the Watch OS, which gives the developers even more time to create even greater apps for the watch that will change the world. Now, all three of these ecosystems together
They had to improve the
incredible
applications on the watch
opportunities
because
for
they
developers
just weren't
and
great.
unbelievable
Yeah.
possibilities.
No, I mean, it wasn't native. They didn't have native
So we're
apps.
very excited
Right.
about this. There's a lot here, and so I'm going to
There
dispense
had to be
with
a
my
way to
normal
disconnect the
updates,
watch from the phone
other
at
than to
times.
tell you everything's going great. And I'd like to bring out my friend and colleague, Craig Federighi, to take you through OS 10 and iOS.
I mean, they even get cheers. Like, this is insane if you think about it, you know? That the fact that these guys are getting a huge ovation.
Wow.
I sort of
Hey, fantastic to be with you here at WWDC. The team has been doing some amazing work this year, and I'm thrilled to be able to
His hair
share it
still
with
looks
you today.
great.
We're going to start.
His hair does look great.
OS 10.
Jeez.
Now, our
This guy's a negative Norwood.
Yosemite is a big, bold, beautiful release.
Beautiful
With
hair on
gorgeous
this
new
man.
UI and breakthrough features like continuity that let you work across your devices like never before. Now, the adoption rate for Yosemite is just incredible. In fact, over 55% of active Mac users are running our latest update, and this is just unprecedented in the history of our industry. In fact, Yosemite has the fastest adoption rate for any PC operating system ever. So thank you.
Interesting that they're calling them PCs, which they are.
So for our next big release of OS 10, we knew we wanted to build on those strengths of Yosemite with some really great refinements and advances. The only really real question, of course, was what to call it. So we had to once again turn to our crack Apple marketing team. Now, in typical California fashion, they started
OS
with the
10
Project Kickoff
Calabasas.
and then headed immediately into a team-building offsite. Now, of course, they're in their traditional Apple marketing Free Bottom
Jeez.
Fridays attire. They say it's all part of their process.
This is actually
sure,
funny.
I get it.
Yeah, this is actually funny.
Ultimately, this didn't yield any names. So they
Sometimes
called
these are a
in
little bit hit or miss, but this
consultant.
is actually funny.
Yeah.
He told him the answer was to be found within.
The
Not
young
within
nature boy Ric
themselves,
Flair is on the air
but
today.
within Yosemite. And so the new name for OS 10 is OS 10 El Capitan.
What?
Okay, guys, come get the
For El Capitan,
get the
we
jokes
focused on
going.
two major areas: experience and performance. For experience, we've made Spotlight more expressive, more powerful, and more knowledgeable than ever. We've made big enhancements to the apps you use most, and we've made some real great advancements in the area of how you manage Windows on the system. But rather than just talk about it, I'd like to show it to you. So let's start with a demo right now. Now, your first task, of course, in a demonstration or whenever you wake your Mac, is finding the cursor. And El Capitan makes this easier than ever. I just do that little shake we all normally do. And there it is. It comes right out to greet you. It's really handy. Now, we brought other great gestures to the system. I'm just going to go here and mail. I have a message here from Eddie. Looks like, well, now, that's a keeper. So I can actually mark it unread to keep it just by swiping 2 fingers across the trackpad, just like that. And this one I'd kind of like to delete, so I'm just going to swipe it away just like that. So some real nice little gestures. Let's move on now.
Basically, they brought the same gestures that you have on iOS
Safari,
now.
I have some sites that I like to keep
OSX.
around because I refer to them
Or am
on
I
and
wrong?
off throughout the
Yeah.
day. And now, in Safari, I can pin those sites just like this. So there's, I'm going to pin my Twitter site here. And of course, I've been following the Warriors. Go Warriors, we're going to get it done. Just like that. Now, pinned sites have a lot of special properties. For one, if I close this window and reopen it, you see that my pinned sites are all
I'm thinking
right
of
there,
the
and
Austin
they load
Powers,
instantly.
the
Now,
Zoolander
pinned sites also
segment.
behave differently when I follow links.
El
So I'm just gonna
Capitan.
click on one here, and you notice it opens in
To
a new
derelict my
tab,
balls, El
but my
Capitan.
pinned site remains. I'm going to open up a couple of more links. Let's open up this one, and let's say this one. I'll take a quick look. This one looks like some kind of presentation video, and this one's about the Giants. But have you ever had this happen to you?
No.
You're like, where is this audio coming from? Well, now, with just a tap, you can mute it or find out where it came from and shut it down, just like that.
I mean, Chrome shows you where the music's coming from because it highlights it and gives you like a little little speaker.
I'm interested in seeing this, this Giants game, and now Spotlight can actually help me out there. So I'm just going to do a search for the SF Giants, and we see right now I get current game scores, upcoming games. Looks like the game I want to go to is on Friday, so I can just search for weather on Friday. See, we get the weather, and can even resize the Spotlight panel and move it around. I mean, there's innovation, huh? So, but I can also express myself in my own words in Spotlight searches now. So I can do things like slides from Brian. You see, I find those there, but how about slides from Brian about El Capitan? You see, I find exactly what I'm looking for in my own words. Now, this works great in other apps as well. Let's try it out in Mail. So I've been really busy, of course, the last couple of days, and so I've been getting a little behind on my mail. And I want to see the messages that I've received from Phil, but that I haven't responded to yet. So I'm just going to say Mail.
So I don't use the Mail app in
Phil.
on the Mac. I should, because it's the best way to get notifications
I'll be
for
getting back to him,
email.
right after the show.
I'm using some like crazy Gmail
So-
notification system, like a third-party app.
Of course, it's
Like
great
Growl or
in the
something?
Finder.
Yeah,
as
it's like
well.
Growl.
So if I wanted to look at documents that I was working on last year at this time, I might say something like documents I worked on last June. And I find exactly what I'm looking for. So this is really a great way to search. Now next I want to turn to window management. So I'm just going to run a script here that's going to open up a whole bunch of windows to simulate kind of what my desktop looks like after a day working on OS X.
Whose
It's a
desktop looks like
powerful
that?
system. We tend to have a lot of things.
Do you
going
guys,
on.
I mean,
Now,
people
OS X
watching
provides
now
some
in the chat,
great
is your
ways
desktop
to
like that?
navigate your windows, and one of those is mission control. Well, now in El Capitan, we've made mission control smoother, simpler, and faster than ever. I'm just going to take 3 fingers and swipe up on the trackpad. You see I get into this gorgeous overview of mission control. I'll just bring forward Safari. Let's do that again and bring up Mail. Just like that, works really great. But of course, OS X provides great tools also to organize your windows, and one of those is full screen. I'm just going to take this window here, full screen, and I'm going to reply. Looks like there's a message here from Eddie. He says that he, sorry about bailing on the team dinner last night. He was apparently prepping for the keynote, so that's understandable. But it looks like actually I just got a new mail from Jeff here, and now I can just click away, and it hides, and then
I have nothing
hold
open
on.
ever.
Busted, Eddie.
That's because you don't
so
do any
I think I'll
work.
just
No, I
drag
do
this
nothing.
actually right into my compose
I'm the one that's
window.
doing all the
Pops right
work.
up automatically, and I can do it just like that. It's really great.
I mean, that's
and I can
pretty cool.
even
You can
open
drag
up
and drop it.
tabs in Compose as well. It's really handy. So this is a great way now to work in full screen in Mail. Thank you. Now, we've done something totally new to El Capitan, and it's the ability to work really easily
I'm sorry, I
on two
just can't take him
windows
seriously when he
side by
says that.
side. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to click and hold here on the green button, and you see it's prompting me to pick a side. I'll just drop it in.
Ah, nice,
And you notice I
snapping.
get an expose of all my other windows. Let me pick the
That's
new news
great.
app, just like that.
By the way, that's in Windows. It's been in Windows 8 with the Metro, the
Of
new,
course,
the
I
modern
can
UI. But
resize
now
this
that's
window to
awesome.
style it
Snapping
just
is
the way I
great.
want. How about that blur? Again, innovation.
So here's a great example how we could use this: IRC on one
Great way to
side
work.
and
Here
the
I can
website
grab
on the
links,
other.
For instance, from Safari,
Yeah.
right in here, and you notice in the new Notes app, I get a beautiful graphical
Very
link
happy about
that gives me a
snapping.
nice thumbnail that helps me identify what
Especially when
I
you're on a
dragged in
smaller
there.
display.
I'm going to drag in.
I'm surprised they didn't have
I
that
think
sooner.
Yurts, first time
It does
mentioned
it
on
in
the
Windows 7. You could
WWDC
snap it.
keynote
You could
stage,
snap
so
it,
there
but
you go.
it's not
Got
as
some Yurts here.
seamless
It's a
as
great
Windows 8.
way to work split screen. But we've also provided a really easy way to move windows into their own desktops. So let me just take this window here. I'm just going to drag it up past the top of the screen and drop it in just like that. So easy. But I can also do this to take a window full screen. So let's take Photos. Just drop it in right here. I took it full screen. And now check this out. I'm going to take Messages, drop it on Photos,
And snap it.
create a split view, just like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Totally awesome. And that is a quick look at some improvements to the experience in El Capitan. So we saw in El Capitan a powerful form of search in Spotlight that lets you compose your searches in your own words. It knows more than ever. It can look up weather, stocks, game scores. We saw gestures, for instance, just swiping to
Okay,
delete
I understand
in Mail.
accents.
And of course, pin sites in Safari and the ability to easily mute tabs. A great new Notes app that supports text styling, checklists, and graphical links. And better window management than ever with a beautiful new mission control interface, easy access to your spaces bar, and of course the ability to do split view and adjust it to see exactly what you're looking for, every pixel of your display devoted to your content. Of course, there's much more to experience in El Capitan, but now I want to turn to performance. So we've optimized performance throughout the system. In fact, we're seeing about a 1.4 times acceleration in app launching, a 2x improvement in the snappiness of switching apps, the time to get first mail messages twice as fast, and opening a PDF in preview 4 times as fast.
On what
But
hardware?
We've also made deep architectural improvements, and that brings us to Metal. Last year, yeah, thank you, we introduced Metal at WWDC as a way to accelerate graphics in high-performance games. It takes the overhead out of OpenGL, providing a high-performance API that gives the game direct access to the power of the underlying graphics hardware. Well, this year, we're bringing Metal to the Mac. And we're doing more than that, because we're taking the graphics stacks on which apps on OS X are built, core animation and core graphics, and moving them from OpenGL to run natively on top of Metal, making everything you do faster. We're seeing 50% improvements in rendering performance and a 40% reduction in the amount of CPU.
Yeah, but is this going to be
necessary do graphics.
hardware
That
reliant,
means
or you
improved
could run this on
performance for
older
your
versions?
applications and better battery life. But the benefits of Metal
It
don't
could be a
stop
mixture of
there.
both.
Metal's also great for high-performance apps. In fact, Metal combines the compute power
Because you're
of
inherently
OpenGL
with
and the
newer
graphics power of
hardware, it's just
OpenGL
gonna
in a
be
higher
better.
performance
Yeah.
Period.
API that does both. And what we've seen from working with early pro developers is really phenomenal. Adobe came in and in short order was able to deliver an 8 times improvement in their rendering effects inside of After Effects. And they've been able to take the drawing engine in Illustrator, move it on top of Metal, and take kinds of UI that previously was non-interactive, like zoom of extremely detailed drawings, and make it completely
guys, this is a direct response to people,
Adobe's so pleased with this,
you know, Photoshop guys and just graphics guys complaining that their hardware is not fast enough. So they know that they can't put in a beefier video card in these machines and more CPU power, so they're going to work on the software side.
10x improvement, that's 10 times. Improvement.
They have to, because those programs just suck up resources.
And so we brought in Epic to see what they could do in short order, and the results are really phenomenal. I'd like to welcome to the stage Josh Adams and Billy Bramer for a quick demo.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you very much for having us here today. So last year, Metal revolutionized graphics on iOS. And now, Apple's amazed us again by bringing Metal to the Mac. Of course, this is great news for games, but also for the tools that we use to make those games. Here, you're seeing Epic's upcoming multiplayer title, Fortnite, running entirely on Metal. We're modifying it directly within the Unreal Engine, a development tool that powers many of today's best games. It's quite a bit going on.
The only thing I can think of right now is I just wish they would play some Baby Metal.
First, there are 64 different layers of rendering effects, and that's a lot. They're all combining together, though, to produce what you see on the scene today. If we go into a simple wireframe mode, you can see the thousands of building blocks that make up this world. We can start to add in layers, flat shading, detailed lighting, runtime shadows, and finally, we combine them all together to bring Fortnite's fun and lighthearted aesthetic to life. The interesting thing here, though, is that all of the effects you're seeing are being done completely in real time. Notice how the shadows and objects interact nicely as Josh moves the car around. Finally,
that's pretty cool.
We can change the time of day on the fly, dramatically altering the mood of the entire scene. All of this is thanks to the efficiency of Metal. In fact, we're seeing a 70% reduction in CPU use compared to OpenGL, enabling developers like us to create richer 3D worlds.
That's
now,
impressive.
Speaking of those worlds, let's hop into the game, Fortnite. Now, if you've ever built a pillow fort and battled imaginary
But then again, I mean, OpenGL is one of those technologies that is fairly old.
Yeah, it is.
At this point, you know? I mean, OpenGL has been around
for decades.
Windows XP, hasn't it?
Over a decade, yeah.
Build a fort.
Almost 2 decades.
So let's go ahead and wreck this car. Gather its metal and continue our wanton destruction by chopping down this.
I want to play this game now.
Later.
I just want to take an axe and just break stuff.
Death storms, like this one, for instance. We should go. Now, luckily, while we were out exploring, we found a multitude of weapons. And this broom. If we can just get across the field, our friend's been busy building a fort for us to hole up in.
Like a witch.
Oh, did we mention the storms are made of monsters? We're gonna need something a bit better than this broom. Nice. And there's our friend laying down some covering fire.
Hey, look out!
We call that move the power cord. I got a bad feeling about this. You're gonna need a bigger fort.
So I guess they're trying to make it seem like, hey, listen, you could game on a Mac.
That looks like an enemy's broken into our fort. All right, let's use that wood we gathered earlier and fix this wall, build some stairs, meet up with our friend Topside.
Glad you could make it.
Whether you're a gamer or a game developer, Metal opens new possibilities for rich and engaging worlds. You can download
I still think this is something that's
right now, and the Fortnite
way more interesting on a mobile platform than
Thank you very much.
a desktop computer. Because obviously you're going to have that sort of power on a desktop computer, but to be able to do that on a mobile device, that's cool.
I'm impressed with what Epic has been able to accomplish in such a short time. And this is in part because the work they did to adopt Metal in their rendering engines for iOS immediately pays dividends on OS X. And we're seeing this with many other developers as well, who are bringing their gaming engines immediately to the Mac. And pro app makers are seeing the benefits of Metal as well. People like the Foundry and Autodesk. think we're going to see pro users, gamers, and all of us benefiting from the performance advantages of metal. So that is El Capitan, improvements to experience and performance. Now, El Capitan is available to all of you developers today. We'll be doing a public beta once again in July, and we'll be rolling out to everyone with a free upgrade this fall.
So they're moving fast.
And that's our update on OS X.
When did the last Yosemite came out? When? It was later.
I thought it was June last year.
No.
Next, you guessed it,
I thought it was later.
iOS. Now, our current big release of iOS is iOS 8. And iOS 8 was a huge release with tons of new features for users and a phenomenal set of technologies that you developers have been able to use to deliver all new experiences.
Are they going to finally let me uninstall the stock
upgrade rate
apps?
For iOS has been fantastic.
Because that's another feature that I think a lot of people would
iPhone
love to
users
have is the
currently
ability
running
to
the latest OS.
uninstall stock
And this is
apps.
really
Oh, it was October. It
because
was.
not
It was
only are
October
they getting
16th.
The most recent features, but
So
they're
that's
also
probably what
up
we're
to
gonna
date
get.
on all the security fixes, and you're able to know as a developer that you can target all the users with the latest and greatest APIs. And this is a benefit that actually remains really unique to iOS. Well, so as we look forward, so we're now looking forward to iOS 9, and as we conceived of what we wanted to
Do you think they're going to go to X
first and
after
foremost,
10?
we wanted to elevate the foundations
After 9?
of the
I don't know.
platform. Things like extending your battery life,
Yeah, I
improving
saw that
performance,
6728.
and enhancing security to protect customer data. But there was more we wanted to do. Adding intelligence throughout the user experience in the
So now
way
they're
that
gonna talk about the
enhances how you
proactive
use your
Yeah.
device,
feature, I guess.
but without compromising your privacy. Things like improving the apps that you use most and taking the experience to of the iPad to the next level. I want to start today with intelligence and Siri. Now, Siri has quietly become incredibly popular. It serves over 1 billion requests per week. And this is in part because Siri has gotten so great at understanding what we're saying. In just the last year, it's seen a 40% reduction in word error rate, down to 5%. That's an industry-leading number. And Siri's 40% faster than ever at responding to what we say. Now, for iOS 9, Siri has a beautiful new UI and is capable of doing so much more. Things like, show me photos from Utah last August, can instantly show you the right photos from your photo library. And Siri's really great.
I think a lot of people are going to
at
use
taking
that.
reminders. Now you can ask Siri things like, remind me to grab my coffee off the roof of my car when I get in, because Siri knows now when you've gotten in the car.
I think it's a smart thing to do because it seems like
things that we're looking at on our device, some content
people that actually
inside
have
of
an
app,
Amazon
maybe
Echo
Safari.
are really
And
into
so
this
now
sort of,
you can say things like,
you know,
remind me about this
having a personal
when I get
assistant
home, and that
to
reminder refers
remind them
right
of
back
these things.
the link
Absolutely.
to specifically what you were looking at when you took that reminder. So Siri is a great assistant, but the best assistants are proactive. And so in iOS 9, we're bringing proactivity throughout the system. So say you like to run in the morning, and when you do, you like to listen to music. Well, now, your phone can learn that about you, and when you plug in your headphones, it can offer up Now Playing automatically right on the lock screen. Yeah. And this is all context sensitive to the time, the place, and even the devices you're connected to. So you do the same thing in the car later on, and it might offer up the audiobook that you've been listening to. Now, as a great assistant, your iPhone can now take invitations that you receive in your email, and without you even touching them, automatically put them on your calendar, and even give you a time to leave reminder, taking into account current traffic conditions, and of course, with just a swipe, give you access to driving directions. Now, have you ever had this happen to you?
Get a phone call? Yes.
You get a call, and the number looks kind of familiar, but you're really not sure who it is? Well, as a great assistant, your phone can now look in your email and find out who that person might be and suggest it to you right on the incoming call screen. It's super handy.
That's pretty useful.
Yeah.
Now, this kind of proactivity is also great when it comes to search. So now when you swipe to the left of the home screen to get to search, you see that Siri offers great suggestions. Things like the people that you might want to contact now based on your upcoming meetings and your communication patterns, the apps that you might want to launch based, for instance, on what you just downloaded from the App Store and haven't yet tried out, or apps that you tend to use.
Is that the notification menu?
And also,
or is that Siri?
Easy one-tap links to locations that are relevant nearby, and even breaking news. And when it comes to search, we also know more than ever before.
A combination of both, I guess.
Yeah.
So, for instance, you can search for sports scores.
Yeah, see, so this is Google Now. I mean, this is their direct competitor for Google Now, which is a must-do for them.
The iTunes Store, and have these great descriptive cards with a play
Which movie?
button so you can play directly from your search result. But most importantly,
awful movie.
We now have an API for search.
Not only do we cover tech here, we also give you movie reviews, guys. How many thumbs down do you give it?
So now when a user performs a search, we can find content behind the apps they have installed on the device.
See, this is the really important part right here.
And
the fact that they have an API that third-party applications
directly into the application
use to actually get access to Siri. I think this is what's really going to be revolutionary, where now you're going to have all those third-party programs be able to interact with Siri.
Yeah.
To their search results.
It's not something they wanted to do a long while ago.
Intelligence features.
This is not a Steve Jobs
really make a huge difference in your
vision.
experience in iOS. And to show
but I think it's important that they do.
Now.
We're going to get a very nice demo here.
So I want to take you through a day in the life with iOS 9. And we're going to start with a typical day for me today. And we're going to start in my bedroom when I woke up in the morning. And you'll notice, because my phone knows that in the morning I like to meditate, that it's offered me a meditation app right here in the bottom left of the screen. So I can just swipe up from the bottom left, and I'm taken right in to meditate. This is so serene. Oh, well, it looks like I got an email, a message here from Phil. So Phil says that he's putting together the invite for tonight's big karaoke potluck. And can I still pick up this super awesome karaoke machine? Well, you know, Siri actually, when I take reminders, is able to link me right back to what I'm looking for. So if I want to remember to pick this up, I can just say this to Siri. Remind me about this later today. And so Siri will put together a reminder, and you see the link right back to what I'm looking for. Well, I think after all, meditation isn't probably for me. So maybe I'll move on to exercise. So I'll head into the home gym here. And because my phone knows that when I'm in the home gym and I hook up headphones that I like to listen to music, watch what happens when I plug in the cord, my headphones. Jumps right in and offers me some energetic music. So let's all
it knows
bust a
what you
move.
want to watch, you know, it figures it out.
I don't know what kind of exercise.
But what if you want to take a phone
here,
call?
But, pretty good. Oh, looks like actually I've got that invitation that Phil was going to send me. So now normally I'd have to actually go into mail, look at the time, put this on my calendar. But in fact, my phone has automatically done that for me. Let me just swipe down here into Notification Center, and we'll look at my calendar for the day.
I'm hoping there's going to be some granular control to this, though.
What do you mean?
In a sense where, what if you don't want it to do this every time? What if you want to do it more of a manual process where you tell it what you want it to actually add to the calendar?
Looks like I have a little bit of time to prepare my
or it doesn't do it automatically for you.
So I'm going to head to the kitchen now. And let's just swipe in. Now, when I'm looking for recipes, for instance, I like to go into search. So let's just swipe over into search. And we see that Siri
my worry is that there's going to end up being a lot of stuff in my calendar that I just don't care about.
For me, for people I could contact, for instance, like Trent Reznor, my vocal coach.
And perhaps you get invitations all the time for stuff, but you're not interested in actually going to do that stuff.
Let's just call Trent Reznor from the 9 Inch Nails up.
My vocal performances.
Let's just call him.
I actually haven't been able to find the pain and rage, to tell the truth be told. But also, we have all these great apps I can run and locations
I like this.
Nearby. For
it's laid out beautifully, though.
Yeah, it's done really. It's pretty.
Places are suggested, as well as news. But in this case, I actually want to do a search. So I have some potatoes I think I could make use of in this recipe. So let's just search for potato. And here you notice I'm getting search results right from Yumly. So let me tap into Yumly And you see I'm deep linked directly in, so I get the great view provided by that application.
Deep link.
Now, potato chips aren't exactly what I'm looking for, so I'm just going to hit the backlink here. And I can just browse directly in to another result. Canadian poutine. Now, that looks like exactly
poutine.
what the doctor ordered. Yes. So let's take a look at the ingredients. Looks like 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I'm down with that. So I'm going to make at least a double batch. So I can just use search to actually search for, to do a conversion of tablespoons, figure out how much that is. So that actually is 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to round up to an even quart and make myself some fine poutine. So search is really handy, but Siri is also great at search. So I want to jump forward to later today.
What do you
when I think
mean
I'll be
call men
reminiscing
don't cook?
about WWDC's
Heel move. He's
past.
being a heel.
And I can ask Siri to help me with that. Show my photos from last June in San Francisco.
See,
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that a
This
lot,
is
and that's
great.
going to be one of
All
the
these
most
photos
used
from WWDC.
features from
Notice
this
how
announcement.
photos
They
on
know
sign
people
us
are
like
just going to be like,
slow-mo
hey,
down at the bottom.
show me the
So I can
photos
really
of,
slide
you know,
photos super
my
quickly,
vacation
just
from
like
last
this.
year.
Let's see. Oh boy, now we're into the karaoke night.
Uh-oh, better be careful
this
with the
is some-
photos
this
you're
is some fine
showing.
Stuff. Phil really does an awesome Viking crooner. This is good stuff. But of course,
That's
the
cool how
king
quickly you can go
of
through them.
karaoke, Eddie Q. In fact, when I want to get really pumped up and inspired for karaoke night, I like to turn to my Eddie karaoke album. So let's do that now. Show my karaoke photos of Eddie.
I'm still not one big to talk to my phone though.
Oh, that is the
People are going to do it. It's so, but think about how much easier it's going to be to tell your phone, like, show me the photos, than to go into your photo album and search.
This is it. Totally dope. Great stuff. Well, I could really look at these just all day.
Eddie
But you
Q.
know, actually, my assistant has given
Classic
me a reminder
Eddie.
based on traffic conditions that it's time to leave. So I'm going to wrap up this demo of intelligence in iOS 9.
Classic Eddie. I'll tell you, this one is a lot more entertaining than
You've seen
anything
how We've
else
been able to bring intelligence throughout the experience.
than last year.
In iOS
We're not
9.
getting a lot of Big
But we
Bang
do it
stuff,
in a
but
way
it is far
that
more
does not
entertaining than prior
compromise
years.
Your privacy.
They still got a couple of things they've got to get to.
We
you
don't
know?
mine your email.
They're
your
gonna
photos,
spend, you know,
your
30
contacts
minutes on
in
the
cloud
music
to learn things
subscription
about
service.
you. We honestly just don't want to know. All of this is done on device, and it stays on device.
This
under
is
your
really
control.
important that it's not going to be associated with randomized identifier. That's good.
Yeah.
And if we
see this.
do have to perform a lookup on your behalf, for instance, for current traffic conditions, it's anonymous. It's not associated with your Apple ID. It's not linked to other Apple services, and it's not shared with third parties.
So long
Why
as,
would
you know,
do
Melissa's
that?
program
You
can't get
are
on there
in
and
control. That
track all
is
this
intelligence
information.
in
Yeah.
iOS 9. Next, let's turn to Apple Pay. And to take you through it, I'd like to bring to the stage our Vice President of our Apple Pay business, Jennifer Bailey. Jennifer.
See what updates we're going to get for Apple Pay.
Thanks, Craig. It's great to be here. We have been hard at work on our goal of replacing the wallet, and we've got some exciting updates for you today.
Whose wallet's like
I
that?
hope you've all tried Apple Pay.
What kind of animal
It's a
has a
super
wallet like
easy,
that?
secure, and private way to pay.
Oh, it's like that one
Last year,
commercial
we
where you
started
get that
with
wallet
credit
thing
and debit
to
cards.
Yeah.
We
place
now have
everything
over
in your
2,500
current wallet, and
banks
it's so much
supporting
slimmer.
Apple Pay. And this fall, Discover will bring Apple Pay to the more than 50 million card members.
Okay, so you got all of them.
Popular merchants are also expanding their acceptance for Apple Pay, including great retailers who will be supporting Apple Pay this year, including Trader Joe's, Baskin-Robbins, and JCPenney.
How about Fairway?
These incredible brands join a great list of the biggest and best merchants supporting Apple Pay since our launch in October. And for you basketball fans, if you're lucky enough to have finals tickets, you'll be able to pay for all your team logo wear at both arenas
By the
using
way,
Apple Pay.
yeah, you could buy a $45 donut at the arena.
Small businesses are also important for us, So we're working with innovative companies like Square to enable millions of small businesses.
I'm glad to
accept
see that
Apple Pay.
there are more
This
companies
fall, Square
building
will
on this.
launch a gorgeous new
That's
reader.
it just
Pre-orders
has
are
to be
starting
ubiquitous
today
as using a credit
on
card as it is
Square.com,
today.
And these will be available
I
in
mean,
our
I know it's
Apple
not there
retail
yet,
stores
but
starting this
to
fall.
see that it is
With
getting there.
fantastic support of merchants, both large and small, we will surpass 1 million locations accepting Apple Pay next month. And thanks to our amazing developers, we have great momentum within apps as well. Apple Pay is so easy to use in-app. Our developers are telling us they're seeing more than 2 times increase in checkout rates.
That's
And we're
interesting.
adding new apps with Apple Pay to the App Store every day. Here are some of the latest, representing a great range of categories, from Delta in travel to Etsy, the leading crafts marketplace. These apps join an incredible group that are redefining new and simpler ways to pay. We're also excited to be working with Pinterest. Later this month, Pinterest will launch Buyable Pins, where you'll be able to buy items from thousands of stores, including Neiman Marcus and Macy's, right from within the Pinterest app, using Apple Pay, and only on iOS.
Oh, we're supposed to clap now for that one?
With the great momentum of Apple Pay in the US, we are now excited to announce that we're bringing Apple Pay to the UK. And it's coming next month.
Interesting.
We will launch with 8 of the most popular banks, with more coming this fall. With this great lineup of banks, we will support more than 70% of the credit and debit cards in the UK. Great merchants are also lining up to support Apple Pay, like Boots, Costa Coffee, and iconic British brands like Marks & Spencer and Waitrose.
And KFC.
We will have over 250,000 locations supporting Apple Pay in the UK. That's more than we started with in the US at our initial launch. We are also thrilled that our customers will be able to commute and pay for their fares on the London transportation system with Apple Pay.
It's actually, that's a big announcement for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that's Apple Pay coming to the UK. Now let's talk about some of the new features that we're adding in iOS 9. First, you'll be able to add your store, credit, and debit cards. Store cards offer unique membership benefits, and leading retailers like Kohl's, JCPenney, and BJ's will be the first to offer their cards on Apple Pay. We will also add loyalty and rewards cards, also with a great lineup of merchants. Kohl's will bring Yes to You program, Walgreens, their Balance Rewards card, and for you coffee and donut lovers, Dunkin' Donuts will bring Apple Pay to DD Perks to their stores beginning
Who's
this fall.
applauding Dunkin' Donuts? Why? Like, why do we have to cheer for Dunkin' Donuts support?
And Apple Pay automatically presents the right card, so you'll never miss a reward. With the expansion of Apple Pay and the new types of cards, we've decided it's time to rename Passbook to Wallet.
Ooh, Google Wallet. They're going to be upset.
One place for all your credit and debit cards, loyalty cards, boarding passes, and more. We told you last year that our ultimate goal was
Passbook
to
was
replace
never
the
a great
wallet,
name.
and we are
No,
well
it
on our
wasn't.
way to doing just that. We couldn't be happier with the progress towards our vision and with the momentum of Apple Pay. Thank you.
Microsoft Wallet, Google Wallet, Apple Wallet.
So that's Apple Pay.
But doesn't that make
Let's
more
turn
sense
now
to
It
the
does.
average consumer,
enhancements to
just
the
calling it
apps
a freaking
we use
wallet?
most. And we're going to start with Notes. Notes is used regularly by about half of our users on iPhone.
I've never used it.
For iOS 9,
Do you?
we have some really
Oh,
great
all the
enhancements.
time.
It starts with how you work with simple text. So now, Notes provides a really handy toolbar with formatting options. So it's easy, for instance, to create titles,
that's
heading
interesting.
styles, numbered lists. But of course, we all like to create checklists in our notes. And so Notes makes that really easy. And of course, you can just check off your items with just a tap. Now, because
That's
a picture
cool.
is worth 1,000 words, we make it easy to get at your camera and your camera roll and put photos directly in your notes. We're also providing a great new way to capture your ideas by just drawing with your finger. We provide some great drawing tools. You can make sketches with these tools and drop them right inside.
I mean, that makes sense with a bigger iPhone.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know if you're like me, but a lot of times the things I want to put on my notes are things that I'm looking at that I find in other apps, for instance, a web page in Safari. So now, from the share sheet, you can just, with a tap,
I just take photos
add a
of
link
things in stores
right
that I want
back
to make
into your
notes about.
And we make it
That's what I
really
do.
easy to find your notes. So we organize them by time, of course, and now we have these great thumbnails that let you see your embedded images at a glance. But we also provide this cool new attachments view that shows you all of your photos,
That's
your
good.
maps links, your website
That's
links.
really
When you
good.
tap, you can get right back to the note where they came from. Now, Notes is great on iPhone, on iPad, and of course on the Mac as well. And all of your content is kept up to date across all of your devices via iCloud. That's a quick update to Notes. Next, let's turn to Maps. We've continued to invest heavily in Maps, and the improvements are really awesome. We're seeing
Transit
5
directions?
billion user requests per week. Usage on iOS is 3.5 times higher than for the next leading mapping app. Now, Maps, of course, historically have been focused on drivers. They emphasize things like freeways and roads. But we know for a lot of our iOS users, they're mostly focused on public transit. And so now we've
finally.
created a great map just for them.
That's finally, that's great.
Yes, it's transit.
That'll be good for when I'm visiting New York.
Yeah.
With
I have
transit,
no
we
idea
provide
what
a
train
map
to
that
take.
emphasizes all of the different transit lines.
I live here and I have
buses,
no idea
trains,
sometimes.
subway stations and so forth.
That's
And when you
'cause
tap on a
you
station,
never go out.
you get to see all the lines that run through it with their departure
All you
times.
do is go to
Oh, wow.
press,
And
we
you
do
walk down to press, and you
multimodal
walk back.
routing, using whether you're taking a train, a subway, a bus, or a ferry. And we provide step-by-step directions, including time for walking
That's very good.
directions.
I mean,
We've taken
about
special
time.
care to get the details right, the ones that matter with transit.
Let's just hope
For
that they don't
instance,
tell you to walk somewhere
you
where
take
there's no
a subway
streets.
station, like this one in Columbus Circle in New York. It's not just a point
I'm
on
in
a map.
Manhattan twice a week.
If you look closer, it's actually an enormous underground structure spanning many city blocks. And so we carefully surveyed all of the entrances and exits so that we could give you walking directions based on the time to travel from where you actually are. Now, this not only saves you a ton of walking, but it also probably is the difference between catching your train on time and being stuck. It's really great.
That actually sounds useful.
Now, we've taught Siri all about transit, so it's effortless to ask Siri for directions. And we're going to be rolling maps out, transit, starting with these cities across the world, and with these and 300 more in China. Now, when it comes to searching in maps, we're now letting you find locations by type nearby with just a tap. And when you find a location you're interested in, the card will tell you right away, right there in the bottom, whether they support Apple Pay. Support those Apple Pay merchants. Maps is great on iPhone and iPad, and of course, the Mac as well. And that is Maps.
Nice needed updates to some of their applications, I think.
The apps that we've chosen to build in to iOS are there because they represent fundamental experiences to living on a mobile device. And there's been one that we've been wanting to do for years, something that so many of us find ourselves wanting to do every day on our device. And so today, I'm pleased to announce that we're introducing a new application, and it's called News. News is beautiful content from the world's
How's this different
greatest
than
sources.
Newsstand?
personalized for you. Now, here's an article in News. It's absolutely stunning. Now, publishers can easily create beautiful content using gorgeous imagery, custom layout, and rich typography. But News is also interactive. And so to give you a look at News in action, I'd like to invite to the stage our Vice President of Application Product Management, Susan Prescott. Susan.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you. I am really excited to be the first person to show you our new News app. It's right here on the home screen. The first thing News wants to do is get a sense of what I like. So it's going to give you a short list of really great choices to choose from. And you'll see as I tap, additional recommendations come in on the bottom to give you even more choices. So I read Atlantic, Wired, New York Times, and ESPN. I'm still with you, Warriors. And Daring Fireball. Topics, too, like science, baking, and travel. I could keep going, but I think that's a great start. So I'll tap done.
This just seems like an updated version of Newsstand to me.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
For you. It's based on the choices I just made, and it's all my news in one place. You can see it looks great. It's easy to scan, and it updates every time I check news. The articles can come from anywhere, but the best ones are built in our new Apple News format. Like this Wired article.
She is very enthusiastic.
Very.
Awesome in Parks and Rec and The Office. Look at the rich typography. Beautiful images. And my favorite part are the really fun animations. It's fast and fluid. We think this offers the best mobile reading experience ever. To get to the next article, I just swipe. It's not just great for magazines. It's great for newspapers, too. This is a New York Times article. And it looks like a New York Times article. Swipe down, there's a photo gallery right in line, fast, fluid to swipe through. Go to the next article. This one's from Quartz, but I'm seeing it because I said I'm interested in science. It's a pretty cool article about a font based on Albert Einstein's handwriting. The animation makes it come to life, and frankly, who knew he had such neat handwriting? It's kind of interesting. Swipe again, and I get an article from Bon Appetit. Great summer recipes, and a crazy little jiggly thing, which is kind of fun.
What?
So I'm a little busy right now, so I'm going to go ahead and bookmark this to read later. Next, ESPN. I love you, Steph. Now, I read ESPN for the articles, but there's also some beautiful photos.
No, I saw what you did there. I have no idea what's happening right now.
Some photos and videos built
I feel
in.
like I missed
Not so
like
much left.
a half a
Let's see if
second of
Steph can
this.
make this one.
Pretty good shooter when I was a kid.
Swish! All right. He's going to be there for us next game. In addition, data and stats are part of what's fun about sports, so of course, rich infographics can be part of it. I'm going to swipe back to For You. Now, news is smart, so the more I read, the better it gets at showing me stories I'm interested in. But what if I want to discover something new? Well, I can tap here at the bottom
This should just be a
on
YouTube
Explore.
video.
And Explore, based on what I've read, will show me new publisher channels I might be interested in and suggested topics. Well, I love technology.
I mean, I guess this is like
I'm going to go
Flipboard,
ahead
right?
and follow that. But
Yeah.
news keeps track of more than 1 million topics.
Very much like
So I can be much more
Flipboard.
specific about my interests. To do
Which
that, I can tap on
never
search
did very
and
good, you
type.
know?
Flipboard did
I'm gonna
very
type
well in the beginning, and then it just... I mean, I still
I get a
use
number of hits,
Flipboard.
everything from Taylor Swift to what I was looking for, Apple's new programming language. So it's a beautiful feed, and what's really cool about this is there are powerful machine learning algorithms that analyze the contents of the articles to figure out which stories belong in which article. This looks like just what I was hoping for. I'm going to go ahead and add Swift to my favorites. So let's take a look at favorites. I'll tap down here. Favorites is where I can see everything I'm following, including Swift, which I just added. It's a great place to go if I want to dig into a particular topic or if I want to read a newspaper or a magazine. Let's say today I want to read Wired. You can tell I'm in the Wired channel. You see the Wired logo at the top and the Wired channel starting with top stories. I can swipe through and see a collection of all the print and web stories built in Apple News format, and it looks terrific. I'm going to look at one more story.
I'm sorry, they're spending way too much
This is about the
time
first
on this for me
civilian
to care.
artist in space. Cool concept and really cool. Want to show you this. We've taken photo galleries to the next level with something we call photo mosaics. Look how beautiful it looks on the page. Stunning. And, as you'd expect, I just tap to zoom in on the photos. It looks great. We think there's never been a more beautiful magazine reading experience, a mobile reading experience in general, and this is just one of many channels with beautiful stories built in Apple News format. That is a really quick look at news. We can't wait to get it in your hands. Thank you very much.
Apple News.
So that's news. Stunning content, personalized for you, fantastic on iPad and
Well, if
on
it doesn't do
iPhone as
RSS, I'm
well.
not interested.
And of course, unlike just
I've got
about
Feedly
any
for
other
that.
news aggregation service we're aware of on the planet, news is designed from the ground up with your privacy in mind. Now, we've worked with the leading publishers, like the New York Times, who'll be delivering 30 free articles daily to news users, and ESPN, who'll be bringing the depth and range of their phenomenal sports reporting, and Condé Nast, who are bringing content from 17 of their magazines, like Vanity Fair, Vogue, GQ, Wired, and Bon Appetit. And they'll be joined by many, many others, read by millions of users daily. But now, news isn't just for the media titans. Great content comes from all kinds of sources, and we want them
Can I hide the
all
application?
in news. So whether it's a local newspaper, a blog, or a special interest publication, they'll all be here. We'll be rolling out news starting in the United States, the UK, and Australia. We think you're really going to like it. Next, let's turn to iPad. Now, iPad is a transformational device. For our users in education,
It's into all the buzzwords.
business, and at home, for many of them, their iPad is their primary computer.
Yeah,
And
why
iPads
isn't
are
it
just
on
tremendously
desktop?
Powerful. And so in iOS 9,
You should
we're
be on desktop.
elevating the iPad experience to a whole new level.
Okay.
Now, it starts
There
with
we
something
go.
really simple, which is how you work with text. And that brings us to the QuickType keyboard. Now, in iOS 8, we introduced the suggestion bar that makes it quicker than ever to type and enter what you're trying to get in. But now, in iOS 9, we've added shortcuts to that bar. So with just a tap, you can cut, copy, paste, format your text, access your attachments. It's really handy. But you know, what makes a multi-touch keyboard so special is that it can be anything you want. It can transform. And so now, when you want to move the cursor or make a selection, you can now just put 2 fingers down on the keyboard, and it becomes a trackpad instantly.
What becomes a trackpad?
You can move the cursor.
Huh.
You can make selections. Of
Look at
course, you
that.
can use the shortcut bar to cut, drag to a new place, and paste, editing more quickly than ever before and without your fingers ever leaving the home row. It's really great.
That's actually interesting that it adds a trackpad.
And if you do occasionally want to hook a physical keyboard to your iPad as well, we've made that better than ever. We provide a way to discover all of the shortcuts that can accelerate your operations in the applications using the keyboard. And we provided shortcuts for app switching. This might look familiar to some of you, as well as to searching in Spotlight. So that's QuickType. But now I want to turn to the big one, and that's multitasking.
Are we going to finally get true multitasking? Or is it only going to be for iPad?
So iPad has always supported forms of multitasking, like this great graphical task switcher, and these nice 4-finger gestures that let you move between applications. But for iOS 9, we're taking it to a whole new place And I'd like to show that to you now. So let's start here on my iPad. And what I'm going to do first is double tap on the home button, and you'll see our new task switcher. It's really gorgeous.
Well, that is
Big,
nice.
Full screen previews of all the apps. Just move right into Safari like this. But of course, often when I'm in an app like Safari, I just want to quickly check my messages. So now, with just a single finger swipe from the side, I can slide it right in with what we call slide
You know what
over.
that's like, though, right?
Course,
You know what I'm
fully
thinking about right now,
interactive here. I can
where
take
they're
a
taking
look,
this from.
maybe type a response,
BlackBerry.
put it right back. I'm back in Safari. You do that
BlackBerry
again.
had that BlackBerry
Now
Peak
from the top,
feature in
I can pull
BlackBerry
down
10.
and bring in other applications.
And this
So let's
is
bring in
very much
calendar.
like that.
Of course, fully interactive, so I can tap into another day. Let's bring in another app. I'm going to bring in the new Notes app, just like that. Now, sometimes, of course, I want to stay working in Notes and Safari, both at the same time, so I can just tap here on the divider, and now I'm in split view. They're both completely active. In fact, for the first time ever, multi-app, multi-touch. I can move them both at the same time.
Interesting.
Now, Notes is actually pinned to the side now, so I want to show you what happens when I switch apps. I'm just going to move over here to Photos, and you notice now I have Photos with Notes on the side. This is really great if I'm taking notes while working across a bunch of different experiences. And of course, those four-finger gestures continue to work great, so I can just swipe my way right back into Safari like that. I can follow links, of course, for my notes. So let me just tap on this link, and you see Safari loads it right here on the side. Now I can adjust this split, so let me just move that over to a nice 50-50 view with Notes and Safari. And I can tap on links to other apps. So let's follow a link into Maps. See, Maps just, oh, I really want location accuracy. Thank you, very helpful. So slides right in and shows me the location.
How many can you snap? Can you do only two, or you could do more?
I'm able to just stay focused right here in these two apps side by side. And let's say I want to now work on Notes full screen. I can just pull right across like that, and I'm in full screen Notes. Now, this gives me a great opportunity to show you what's new with the QuickType keyboard. So I have a to-do list I'm building here. And I'm just going to add an item here to buy.
They're definitely putting in a lot of polish into
ice chest.
iOS 9.
There we go. But you know, on second thought, I think I should probably borrow one. So I'm just going to take two fingers down on the keyboard and just swipe over here. I can reposition the cursor like that, tap and make a selection, extend the selection, and type borrow. It's really easy. I can make bigger moves too. I'd go to the top here, maybe select the whole sentence, drag down, maybe do a checklist like this, and check them off. Just like that. Super cool. Next, I want to show you multitasking in the context of something I think we all do quite a bit on our iPads, which is not that, which is watching ESPN. So let's bring up a video.
I wonder how much ESPN paid him for this.
Now, often when I'm watching a video, I may decide I want to look something up or check something or maybe even get a notification.
That ran a little too quick.
I want you to watch what happens when I tap. Watch the video. Now I have picture-in-picture.
Perfect for GFQ.
Yeah, that's great.
So I can still listen. I can watch my video. I can, of course, resize the pip if I want, like this. I can move it around the screen so it's out of the way of what I'm working on.
Yeah.
I can even move it off the side. Sometimes I just want to listen for a while I work.
Support specifically for that.
I'm sure, yeah.
I can pull it back, and then when I'm done, just tap to put it away.
Is it only going to be like Apple Partner?
I think whatever does that, if you program for AirPlay, it may probably work. That's probably how they'll do it. But most people will want to do that.
iOS 9 delivers this great app switcher, and of course, that's available on iPhone as well. On iPad, we have slide over, so you can bring apps in from the side. You can tap and enter split view for simultaneous live.
Split view is only available on the iPad Air 2.
Now, we provide developer APIs to let your apps work this way. And the good news is that you've already done most
I don't know if you guys heard that, but split view will only be available on the iPad Air 2.
Great on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Well, that carries over just like this Onto iPad. Twitter came in and was able to do it just in minutes. It was really incredible. Now, Slide Over is available for the iPad Air, Air 2, Mini 2, and Mini 3, as is Picture-in-Picture. And our most powerful Split View is available on our most powerful iPad, the iPad Air 2. That's multitasking.
I wonder if they will add it to iPhone later down the road.
So we've seen some great end-user features, but of course we've also focused on the foundations. In performance, as you saw earlier on El Capitan with OS X, we've taken the core frameworks that we use for drawing on the system, core animation and core graphics, and we put them on top of metal. We're seeing great acceleration, 1.6 times improvements in animations and scrolling, and a 50% reduction in CPU usage for drawing. It's really great. Now with battery life, we focused on real-world use cases and optimized them. And we're seeing an addition of 1 hour of typical use on a full charge on iPhone. Now, we know that for a lot of you, if you're running low on power, you start searching all over for switches and turning off features
ultra power
in the hope
mode.
of
So my
extending your
phone,
battery
my
life a little
Samsung
bit
has
further.
that.
Well, now,
And it's great.
in iOS 9, we give you a single switch to enter what we call low power mode. And it pulls levers that you didn't even know existed and is able to extend battery life for an additional 3 hours of typical use on top of that additional hour.
Nice.
It's really great.
So on my Samsung, they have that, and then they have Ultra Power Save, where it puts the phone in black and white.
Security,
And you have access to your browser, text messaging, and a couple other apps.
and so we're bringing two-factor authentication and making it easy for everyone to protect their data in iCloud. And with software update, we want everyone to get to iOS 9. And so we've done major enhancements to the architecture for our over-the-air updates, and we've been able to reduce the amount of free space you need to get to iOS 9 from the 4.6 gigs that it took to get to iOS 8 down to just 1.3. So we think everyone's going to be getting to iOS 9.
Kind of had to do that, though. I mean,
Yeah, because nobody could download
they were
it.
continuing to sell these 16
So
gigabyte
iOS 9,
iPhones
intelligence throughout the system,
and iPads,
Apple
and nobody
Pay,
could upgrade.
Enhancements to really popular
I know so many people
apps
that
like
have not.
Notes and Maps, an all-new news app. And
Yeah, that
incredible
power save is
features
really
now for
good.
iPad
I mean,
with multitasking.
there's been days that I've been out in the city all day, and my battery was like at 3 or 4%. I put on Ultra Save, and I got an extra like hour and a half.
But once again, it's a fantastic release for all of you developers. Bringing a ton of new features. You saw search extensibility. We're adding UI testing to Xcode. We have a new technology, yes, we have a new technology called app thinning, which optimizes your downloads to exactly the subset of resources needed for that user's device, so you're able to take less space on device. It's really great. Now, when it comes to gaming, we've enhanced Sprite Kit, Scene Kit, and Metal, and introduced 3 new frameworks. Gameplay Kit to bring artificial intelligence with obstacle avoidance and pathfinding. Model I/O to provide beautiful lighting on your 3D models. And Replay Kit. It lets you enhance your applications to let users record their gameplay as video and share it. It's really great.
I guess neither of us are clapping because we're not gamers.
Has been on fire. And so we've continued, well, we've added water, actually, to HealthKit. We're not trying to put out the fire. HealthKit, we're adding lots of additional health metrics to be tracked. For instance, hydration, UV exposure, and reproductive health. Now, HomeKit has been taking off with manufacturers introducing HomeKit peripherals to the market now in areas like thermometers, locks, and lights. And now, in iOS 9, we're adding support for window shades, sensors of all kinds. For instance, carbon monoxide sensors, motion sensors, and we're adding support for security systems as well. But perhaps most importantly, we're allowing you to access your home remotely and securely via iCloud. So no matter where you are,
I think Apple is being very smart about this in the sense that they're almost ahead of the game, I think, in terms of this connected home stuff. The biggest problem right now is getting devices out there that
supports
actually are compatible
audio
with
apps,
HomeKit.
and now in iOS 9,
But
it
I think
also
that's been
supports
kind of
apps by
a
the
struggle
automaker to
from the
control
beginning and still
things
today
in your
with
own
connected
car
devices
without
in
leaving
general.
the CarPlay experience. And CarPlay supporting more kinds of screens, wider aspect ratios,
I think
high
what
DPI.
HomeKit does is give
But most
these
significantly
devices
with
and
CarPlay,
manufacturers
we're pulling the cord.
a good reason to
In
do so.
future cars, you'll be able to get in your car without taking your phone out of your bag or out of your pocket and start experiencing CarPlay effortlessly. It's going to be really great.
Yeah, but what cars have? Nobody has it yet. Nobody. They keep talking about future cars. We only have
Finally,
one.
let's talk about Swift. You all know that the growth that Swift has been experiencing is just unprecedented, and we've all seen it with the flood of applications coming into the App Store. Well, now we're stepping on the gas this year with Swift 2. Now, Swift was designed from the beginning to be fast, and we've continued to roll out targeted optimizations all year long. And now with Swift 2, we have an all-new optimization technology that's especially great for complex applications and object-oriented programming that we call whole module optimization, and the results are really fantastic. In addition, we're bringing the language features that you've asked for most, an elegant new error handling model, the ability to see your interfaces as synthesized headers in Xcode, and the feature that Tim has been begging for all year, protocol extensions. You're all going to love it. Now, we think Swift is the next big programming language, the one that we will all be doing application and systems programming on for 20 years to come. And we think Swift should be everywhere and used by everyone. And so we're going to be doing something really big. Today, we're announcing that Swift will be open source.
Christ, what an ovation. My God.
We will be rolling out the compiler and the standard libraries for iOS, OS X, and Linux. And it'll all be out there by the end of the year. So that's Swift. And that is iOS 9. We're doing a developer beta, you guessed it, today. And for the first time for a major iOS release, a public beta.
So I
sign
still
up
can't
now at
freaking uninstall stock
beta.apple.com,
apps, and I
you
still
can get
can't
the beta when it
swipe
comes out
through
in
messages.
July.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll be rolling it out.
Yet
as a
another
free
year.
upgrade in
This
the
is the
fall.
third year now that I've
And
been waiting for that.
iOS 9 will
I'm
support
disappointed.
all of the
Oh, hold on,
devices
let's
that
see.
were supported by iOS 8. We're not
iPad
dropping
2.
any this year because we want everyone.
iPhone
Get
4
iOS
is done, so iPhone 4S and new.
That's iOS 9. I really appreciate your time. Have a fantastic conference. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. iOS just keeps getting better and better for many hundreds of millions of users. And iOS 9 takes it to an even greater level with incredible new apps and intelligence built right into iOS. And as an avid iPad user, I'm also incredibly excited about how far it extends the iPad experience as we continue to lead in the post-PC era. And with El Capitan, we've created a new version of OS X that dramatically improves the experience and the user experience and the performance of the Macintosh. And of course, Swift. You've just heard. Swift provides a single language for you to create apps for both OS X and iOS. There's really so many possibilities for you to use these platforms and these tools to create unbelievable apps that will impact
Yeah, they don't.
business
I mean,
and
we're not getting
healthcare
an
and
iPod Touch
education
on
and
a,
really everything
a
in
new
our
cycle all the
lives.
time. It's not going to
There's
happen.
seemingly
It's like every couple
no
years.
limit to what you can do. And of course, underpinning this, the App Store is very key. It's hard to believe that the App Store was launched only 7 years ago. It's hard to remember a day without it. Now, I'm happy to announce that the App Store recently passed a major milestone.
5 trillion apps.
The App Store has passed 100 billion apps downloaded.
You're going to have a sign like McDonald's had?
Yeah. Yeah. 100 billion served.
And the momentum is absolutely staggering. The industry has never seen anything like this before. The App Store has forever changed software and software distribution. And it's also been an economic boon. We've now paid out $30 billion to developers. The App Store continues
99% of them are flashlight apps.
Marketplace on the planet.
That's still better than 99% of them being fart apps on Android.
We could not be more proud of the work that you are doing. More and more, developers are transforming, empowering, and reimagining the very important things that we do in our daily lives. And we've made a video about your incredible impact.
Oh boy.
And just
another video.
How far you've come in such a short period of
time.
Here
we go.
And I'd love to run it for you now.
Eight years ago, when the iPhone was launched, it didn't have an app store. And there was tremendous
7 years is a fairly long time.
Developers and customers.
Yeah. I mean, that's more than 5 years. More than half a decade.
When what launched, he said?
We all had this dream
the App Store.
Apps were going to become really important.
Yeah, what year did it launch? 2000 and what?
7 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years ago. Yeah, no, 2008.
2008.
8, 9, yeah.
That cumulative effect appeared, then we all start to realize, oh my goodness, this is bigger than any of us imagined.
Aluminium. Everything is aluminium.
Apps plus handheld devices. I think that's a watershed moment in civilization. I put it up there with the invention of the microscope and the telescope. Here we live in a
I still
time
wouldn't mind if they would
where
actually fix some of the
most
bugs in the
powerful
App Store, though.
tools ever imagined to investigate and probe our world are in the hand of essentially everyone.
If you think the Industrial Revolution was transformational, the App Store is way bigger. I don't think we've seen anything reach a mass adoption at anything close to this pace. It took, for example, electricity over 100 years to get to its first 50 million users. It took television 13 years, and the App Store got to 50 million users.
So what they're saying is we're supposed to be very impressed.
Very impressed. I would not recommend putting the beta right now. It's an early beta. I would wait.
The thing the App Store did was gave each and every developer a voice. You know, it's a testament that two guys in a room working on an idea can launch an app and instantly have hundreds of millions of people very quickly. The iPhone made photography universally accessible.
I cannot think of a single industry that doesn't need an app. People want data at their fingertips. They want personalized experiences. They want power over their money.
Decent stuff in iOS 9,
and it's not
but
just for banking, it's for every industry.
I'm assuming we'll see more when they announce the next iPhone.
It's leveling the playing field.
We'll actually see the hardware and iOS 9 go together and see what improvements they have when they actually combine.
We don't have to own our own cars. We don't have to own our own music. We can call it up when we need it. That's a big change, all flowing from the idea of not just convenience, but people building up an infrastructure around that. We're now talking not about hundreds of people getting the benefits of an idea, but millions.
If you had told me when I was a kid that you would be able to write an idea and then film that idea and then distribute it to the world on a device that you could also put in your pocket, I would never stop laughing, and I would have thought you were insane. the App Store gives everyone access to incredibly powerful tools. And there's an incredible generation of filmmakers and storytellers to come.
Kids love technology, and they love interacting with the iPad and with apps. That wonder and awe that gets ignited is actually being utilized to help that person learn.
Insane watching a kid use an iPad
Certainly in
or an
education, there's so
iPhone.
much potential
It's
to
unbelievable.
take the classroom with you anywhere.
Like, I have nieces and nephews, and
and they get it.
My nephew's
you know,
only like he's just going to turn 5 this month, and he probably knows more than most people
And they
on
do
how to
things
use
for
an
people that
iPad.
change their lives.
He can figure things out, and it's just crazy how fast he
Music
learns
for
how to
me,
use an
it's
iPad.
like everything. It's really special. This amazing feeling that music gives me, I want everyone to have that. Even the person cannot hear. So the idea of the app is to introduce music for deaf people. I'm going to put this in your wrist, so if you play, you can feel the vibrations. Did you feel that, Rob?
It's so cool.
Okay. My dream is to bring music to everyone.
It is an amazing time to be a developer. We're still just at the beginning of all this. This moment where the technology of an iPhone and an iPad and the watch enable so many incredible things. There's so much that can still change and evolve due to the power of applications.
Huh? Something happened?
No. What happened?
I fell
What was that?
asleep.
On behalf
There we
of
go.
everyone at Apple, we want to thank the developer community for everything that you've done. Thank you.
So now we're gonna get the watch
You have changed
announcement,
so
obviously.
many parts of all of our lives and transformed the world in the process. Now, we want to talk about now the next opportunity to transform the world. And that's the opportunity to bring native apps to the watch with a new version of watchOS. For us, this is a giant moment. This is how we felt when we launched the App Store, opening a new platform to developers to create new applications that can really change people's lives. We really believe deeply in this space. We believe in technology designed for the wrist. And we believe by opening up the platform that you will create new and powerful uses that today we can only begin to imagine.
I don't think most people do.
We began making the Apple Watch available just 6 weeks ago. And it's pretty amazing that today we're already talking about the next version of the watchOS. This new version will have great new capabilities, and it will bring native apps right to your wrist. To tell you all about it, I'd like to invite up my friend and colleague, Kevin Lynch. Kevin?
Hi. So we're moving really fast on watchOS, and I'm super excited to talk with you about the enhancements that are coming in watchOS, as well as the powerful new abilities for app development.
watchOS 2.
Let's start with the enhancements. The enhancements include great new timepiece functions, improvements in communication, as well as in health and fitness, and support for the new capabilities in Apple Pay and Maps and Siri. Let's start with timepiece.
I just see this as,
now,
you
already
know,
Apple Watch is a really
same
great timepiece, most customizable one in the
issues
world,
as when they
and a lot of that is
originally
the
launched the
watch
first iPhone and the second
We're
iPhone.
adding some new watch faces in watchOS 2. That includes a beautiful new photos face. To be able to select any photo that you have and create a watch face out of it. You can make more than one, of course, and switch between them as you like. Or you can select a photo album, and every time you raise your wrist, you'll see a different photo from your album show up. It's a great way of seeing your photos throughout the day. Now, we went a little further with this, and we shot some photos ourselves. So we did some time-lapse photography in some beautiful locations around the world. And the way this works is when you raise your wrist, you'll see this 24-hour shoot that we've done in different locations, and it will be your current time there. So if it's noon, you'll see noon in London. If it's at night, you'll see Big Ben all lit up. And we've done this not only for London, but some other locations too. You can choose from Hong Kong, Mac Lake, which is a beautiful place in the Sierras, as well as New York and Shanghai and London. So a great way of seeing some really beautiful imagery, both your own and these time-lapse images on your wrist. Now you can customize your watch with these images, but you can also choose to show the information that you like on your watch face with something in traditional watch terms is called complications. Now with watchOS 2, we're really excited to enable app developers to make your own complications. So be able to do things like show your flight time from United, see the state of your home control system, look at the charge level of your electric car, or see sports scores, for example, from the MLB app. You can choose the information that you most like to see right on your watch face.
This is all really cool, but
and this will work not only
I mean,
on the
it's more
watch face,
functionality.
but across the others that support
going to be on the
complications as
battery,
well. You'll be able to choose from a variety
already
of templates,
pretty poor.
and we'll make those look beautiful in each of the different watch faces. So it's going to be a really fast way to look at this information. Now, we went further than this. We thought it's really great to be able to see the current information. But what about future information, like the weather later today or your meeting after the current one? And what if you could go forward in time and actually see that information update on your watch face? Well, we're supporting that in watchOS 2 with something that we call time travel. And you'll be able to rotate your digital crown, and you can go both forward and backward through time, and the information will update right on your screen. Let's take a look here. So I've got my meeting in the middle there, and weather, and the charge level of a car, and time in London. When I rotate the crown, you can see it's changing the time, and it's showing me things that are coming up. Now, we know that a really popular one here might be the stocks complication, but we haven't cracked that one yet. We're working on it. You can keep rotating and keep going forward. You can get all the way to tonight. I can see I've got a date night tonight, and weather's going to be good, and time in London will be 2 a.m. So you can see all the information that you like to see in the time that you want to look at. Really, really fun way to interact with time on your watch. That's time travel. Now, we also thought, what would be a great experience for the watch when it's on your nightstand and charging? Well, we've come up with a new user interface for this in watchOS 2 called Nightstand Mode. So when you put your watch on its side and it's charging, you get this beautiful display now of the time. And of course, you can set an alarm that will wake you up
like any other
in the
bedside
morning,
mode.
and it will go something like this. So a beautiful little bedside alarm clock now with Apple Watch. And the buttons on the side and the crown act as your snooze and your off button. So a really fun way to have a nightstand view on your watch. So those are just some of the great new timepiece functions that are coming in watchOS 2. Let's look at communication. Now, already Apple Watch is great at communicating with your friends. You can just press the side button and see your 12 friends that you've selected. Now, we realize that some of you have more than 12 friends. So now, in watchOS 2, you can actually have different sets of friends you can select.
Me.
And you can add a friend right from your watch by pressing the plus sign and add a friend right there. Isn't that cool? Now, when you're communicating with someone, you could make a phone call or send a message or send a drawing with digital touch. And now in watchOS 2, you'll be able to use multiple colors in your drawings.
I feel like they're
So you can draw
definitely
a
making
beautiful
this
flower
less
that has
gimmicky
more
now,
than just
less
one
novel.
color.
It's more
Even
practical.
my drawings are starting to look better now with this. Also, in email, you can already read email on your watch. With watchOS 2, you'll be able to reply to email. And with the phone, you can already take phone calls on your watch. We're now going to support FaceTime audio, so you'll get really high-fidelity calls right in your wrist.
But not FaceTime video?
No, because there's no camera.
And with health and fitness, already Apple Watch is a great partner for health and fitness. With watchOS 2, we're enabling your favorite fitness apps to run natively on the watch, so you can use them wherever you are, and your workouts with these apps will contribute directly to your all-day activity, which would be really great. So if you go on a bike ride, it will count. We're also enabling Siri to start workouts, so you can just raise your wrist and say, hey Siri, start a 30-minute run in the park, and it will start the workout app and get it going for you. You can also do things like, say, go for a 300-calorie bike ride, or go for a 5-mile run, and it will just start the workout without you having to touch the watch at all. And when you achieve something, there's some beautiful new achievements that you'll see that look like this. They spin right in, they're beautiful, you can play with them in 3D on your watch, and they're engraved on the back now with your name. And you can share these with people over messages or Facebook or Twitter. Really cool health and fitness. With Apple Pay, you saw some of the great new support we're bringing for store cards and rewards cards. We're supporting that in the watch, so you can select a store card and use it right in your watch at a merchant terminal just by waving it in front of the store stand there. And then with a wallet coming to watch, all of your rewards cards will be right there, and you can also use those right from your watch as you're doing purchases. With transit, we're supporting, of course, the mass transit capabilities and maps now, so you'll be able to see the transit lines on your wrist. You can actually see the departure times for different stations you're near. And when you're navigating, you'll get step-by-step directions about getting through the different mass transit that you use. With Siri, we're continuing to add new domains for Siri. In watchOS 2, we're enabling Siri to get you mass transit directions, like bus directions to the ferry building, which will look like this, and you can just start navigating. Or you can control things in your home with Siri. So you can say things like, hey Siri, set the dinner scene. And it will talk to any HomeKit-enabled devices in your house and set the lights just how you want them. Is that cool? It's going to be great. Another great thing is you can actually ask for any of the glances you have. So you can say, hey Siri, show me the Instagram glance, and it will show up right in your watch face. And this could be a glance you don't even have currently selected. It's a great way to show information from third-party apps right there in Siri. So those are just some of the highlights of what's coming in watchOS 2. We think it's going to be a really, really great update to the watch. Now, that's not all. We also, of course, focused on what we can do for developers. And already, out of the gate on day one, you could build apps for Apple Watch using something called WatchKit. And that has enabled over many thousands of apps now to be created for Apple Watch. And these apps today function by relying on your phone. So you might have, for example, an app on your watch, and the user interface runs on your phone, and the user interface is on your watch, but all the logic for your app today runs on your phone. Well, with native apps, you'll be able to actually move that logic to the watch, so both the UI and the logic are there, all run locally, performance will be great, responsiveness will be great. It's going to be a great new frontier for apps on Apple Watch with native app support. And when you're actually wandering away from your phone sometimes, your apps will be able to communicate directly with the network, with known Wi-Fi networks. So you can get the information you want wherever you are with your watch. So we heard from you as we were working on native apps, a lot of feature requests of things you'd like to do on the watch. These are a bunch of the things that we've heard. So we've been listening to that, and let's go through some of the things that will be possible now in watchOS 2. We can see how we did on this. So one of the things we heard was really want to access the microphone on the watch. So yes, in watchOS 2, you can access the microphone right on the watch.
So there's a
bring
mic
that audio right into your app. We also heard you wanted to play audio out of the speaker. You can do that. watchOS 2 with native apps, you can play back through the watch speaker, or you can play audio to a Bluetooth headset or speaker connected, both short form and long form audio.
It almost feels like the first generation of watchOS was more of a beta.
It seems like that. It seems like it was missing a lot of these features, and now they have to push it out really quickly.
You definitely heard that.
Which is good that they're doing this so quickly.
On the watch, including streaming heart rate data. So if you're doing, for example, a
I'm still
bike
kind of
ride
hoping
with
they'll
Strava, you can see what
say
heart rate
something
zone
about
you're in while
battery
you're
life.
biking.
Yeah.
HomeKit is natively on the watch, so you'll be able to actually talk to your HomeKit devices from your watch and control them. We think this is going to be a great future for control right from your wrist. You'll be able to access the accelerometer, so you can get movement data. So, for example, from the Ping Golf app here, you can check out your golf swing tempo as you're swinging the golf club with your watch on. Taptic Engine is one of the things that we've really done a lot of focused work on to make it a great experience on the wrist. And we are bringing access to the Taptic Engine to you for your app development. So you'll be able to choose from a range of different feelings as well as audio that will come out the speaker. So for example, if I'm unlocking my car here, I'll get feedback on my wrist, both audio and felt, just like that. Another great interaction on the watch is using the digital crown to manipulate the UI. And we're enabling access to digital crown as well with watchOS 2. So you'll be able to control a custom UI element, like changing the temperature here, just by rotating the crown like this. Super easy way to interact with your watch.
What car is integrating this?
I have no idea.
That you could defrost.
So we've done a great job bringing a lot of access to the watch now with native apps. And I'd like to show you a demo now of some examples.
Those weren't demos?
So I've got a watch here, and I'm just going to put it on. And it's connected to the display here through this little cable. All right. So let's start by looking at 3 examples of new features in watchOS 2, and then I'll show you 3 apps. Let's start with making a photo face. So I'll just press my digital crown here, go to the home screen, and there's my photos. And you can see I've got a bunch of photos on here. I can zoom in with the crown and pan around, and I can pick a photo that might make a nice watch face like that one. But I want to zoom in and crop it a little more, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and move it over like that to get it just right. I think that's going to make a great watch face. So I just force touch, choose Create Watch Face, and there you go, a beautiful new watch face. Let's look at time travel. I'll go over to my modular face. I've got some more information here. So I've got flight times here on United. You can see the temperature, my VW car's charge level, and time in London. So I just rotate the crown here, and I can go forward in time. You can see times updating. Now my flight's leaving, you can see at 1:45, and I wonder if my charge level will be enough to get to the airport. So if I just keep going forward in time here, we'll get to 1:45, and you can see my charge level is just going to be great to get to the airport. And in fact, you can keep going and look at boarding time and arrival time for your flight. So you can get a great preview of your day just by rotating the crown right on the watch face. It's a lot of fun. Just press the crown and go back to home. Now, if you get an email, you can reply to email now in watchOS 2. So here's an email that's just come in from Mark. Now I can reply to this by pressing the button right below the message, or you can use Siri to reply to a message right from a notification. So if I just use Siri here, I can reply like this. Reply, I would love to.
Yeah, I agree about that with smartwatches. They're not where they should be yet. I mean, give it a couple of years.
So Siri's making the message there. It's created a response. I just press send, and it now goes off to Mark. So just by pressing the crown,
well, again,
you can use Siri
the biggest
to send a
problem with
right
any mobile device is battery
life. Now let's look at a few
people even complain about the battery life on the iPhone.
You saw on slides a second ago. And I'll show you how that works. Here it is. Now I can lock my car just by pressing this control right here. Responds right away. You can see the app also opened very quickly. And I can control the temperature here that we were looking at before by just rotating the crown. You can see how responsive it is as I go up and down through temperatures here. Really, really cool. I'll get it nice and warm for me, so when I go down there, it'll be nice and toasty. Okay, turn it on. All right, I've got confirmation that it actually enabled that on my car now. Now, access to the mic is going to be really helpful in apps. And some of the apps that will really benefit are communication apps, like WeChat. A lot of messages sent via WeChat.
Do you know how many more watches they would sell if
let's see how
cars, there were actually cars that supported this?
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of cars, like every car supported this.
And
absolutely.
I would for sure pick up an Apple Watch.
Button, and you can see
absolutely.
I've got a microphone now, so I can do an audio response. Let's do that. That sounds great. So you can see as I was recording it, it got the audio levels of my voice, and now it sent that to Becky. I can also reply with stickers here. There's different categories of them. And with the digital crown now, being able to connect to your UI, I can just flip through recent stickers and pick one quickly that I like, and then just send that one as well. So very fast to interact now with all these new controls you have available in watchOS 2. Now let's look at the Vine glance. Vine is a great example of playing back video on the watch, and its format is really perfect for the watch face. So here's a recent one on Vine. So that's video playing back right on the watch face. So those are just some examples of what you can do now with watchOS 2, and I'm super excited to see what all of you guys do with all this stuff. So some great new enhancements coming, as well as some super powerful app development tools for you. And we've been working really hard on this, and I'm really happy to say that this stuff is all available to you today to start building these native apps. Just 6 weeks from our launch. It's unbelievable. And then it'll be available in the fall to everyone, and we'll work across all the watches, of course, and it will be free. So this has been a great adventure. We're just getting started here, and I'm really looking forward to the journey ahead with all of you on Apple Watch. Thank you very much. Back to Tim. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Kevin. We're really excited to have Apple Watch out in the world, and we can't wait to see what you do with the watchOS. And we couldn't be more excited about how developers and users will use this powerful ecosystems of both products and platforms. 3 amazing platforms. The opportunities really are limitless. Now, before we close this morning,
one more thing.
We do have one more thing.
Here we go.
And it's not Apple TV, unfortunately.
I'd like to tell you about something
not.
that we've been working really hard on, and something we are super excited about. You know, we love music. And music is such an important part of our lives and our culture. We've had a long relationship with music at Apple, and music has had a very rich history of change, some of which we played a part in. We've made a great video about the history of music, and I'd like to play it for you this morning.
Jesus.
Today we're announcing Apple Music, the next chapter in music, and I know you are going to love it. It will change the way that you experience music forever. To tell you more about it, I'd like to bring up someone who knows more about music and the music experience than anyone I know.
50 Cent.
Dr. Dre.
He's worked with amazing artists, from Bruce Springsteen to John Lennon and countless others. We are thrilled to have him a part of the Apple team. Please join me in welcoming Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy.
Thanks, Tim. Wow, it's really an honor to be here. I'm here because in 2003, the record industry was a ball of confusion. We had Napster, we had LimeWire, we had BitTorrent, this giant invader from the north, technology. I'm looking at my guys saying, well, what do we do with this?
Is Google working
so
for you?
To Apple, and I see Steve Jobs
Google?
and Eddie Q.
Yeah.
And they showed me something brilliant and groundbreaking. A simple, elegant
like it to
way
me.
to buy
It works
music
or no?
online. iTunes.
I can't get
I'm like,
Google to work.
Wow.
Huh.
The ads are real. These guys really do think
There we go.
different.
Now it's back.
So they could help move culture the same way that art moves culture. Technology and art can work together, at least at Apple. So now, 2015, music industry is a fragmented mess. If you want to stream music, you can go over here. If you want to stream some video, you can check some of these places out. If you want to follow some artist, there's more confusion for that. So I reached out to Tim Cook and Eddie Q, and I said, guys, can we build a bigger and better ecosystem with the elegance and simplicity that only Apple can do? One complete thought around music. And from that, I'm standing here today so proud of everyone that's worked so hard. And I'm going to introduce you to Apple Music.
Oh boy, another video.
Power in our lives. The way we listen to and experience music is undergoing a profound change these days. To have access to nearly all the music in the world at our fingertips and in our pockets is remarkable. And yet, there needs to be a place where music can be treated less like digital bits and more like the art it is, with a sense of respect and discovery. And if that place could actually accommodate and support the artists who make the music, and not just the top-tier artists, but the kids in their bedrooms too, provide them all with a home and a way to engage with their audiences, that would be pretty great. And that's what we set out to do with Apple Music.
On Apple Music, all the ways you love music can now live together. Stream from the millions of songs on iTunes, anytime and on demand, along with hand-picked playlists, recommendations, and all that's great and breaking in music right now. And broadcasting every day is Apple's first 24/7 worldwide radio station. Live in over 100 countries, Beats One is anchored by Zane Lowe in LA.
Beats One, worldwide, always on.
Ebro Darden in New York.
New York City, worldwide, this is Beats One.
And me, Julie Adenuga, out of London. We cannot wait to play you guys some music we've
Okay,
got
I have
lined up.
absolutely no
Some
interest in the radio station.
And at the heart of Apple Music, there's Connect, where artists can share with fans like never before. Songs, remixes, demos, mixtapes, photos, videos, lyrics, sound bites. Really, any way an artist chooses to express themselves.
I mean, this is going to do well, obviously.
For fans, we've tried to create
I'm
a
all
complete
about the
experience.
streaming and Spotify
By combining
like
the catalog of the
streaming
world's
service.
music, with music that's not in that catalog yet.
I think
direct
that's
from the
awesome.
artist to you, and the shared experience of Beats One. For artists, we've built an ecosystem we hope can start to provide the tools to
You know, the
grow,
problem, though, is
nurture,
that,
and sustain careers.
If they're
One
going to take this
place,
seriously, they're going to have
one
to really work on the iTunes application for Windows.
Yeah.
Because even still today,
it's brutal.
iTunes on Windows is like you said, it's brutal to use.
And that's Apple Music.
They're really going to have to
And the
make
great
it more
Trent
lightweight
Reznor.
and functional on
It's
Windows.
all the
for
ways you love music.
anybody
all
on
in
Windows
one
to take it
place.
seriously.
And that place is almost in 1 billion hands around the world already. One app, one single app on your iPhone. Apple Music is 3 things. It's a revolutionary music service. Oh.
a revolutionary music service curated by the leading music experts who we helped handpick. These people are going to help you with the most difficult question in music. When you're listening to a playlist, what song comes next? The only song that's as important as the one you're listening to at that moment is the one that follows it. Now, picture this. You're in a special moment. You're exercising, or some other special moment. Right, Trey? He exercises a lot. And your heart's pumping. And you're about to turn up the reps. And the next song comes on. And buzzkill. Now, you may ask why that happened. It happened because it was probably programmed by an algorithm alone. Algorithms alone can't do that emotional task. You need a human touch. And that's why at Apple Music, we're going to give you the right song.
We're going to give you a human being to go along with every subscription.
All on demand. Now, the first ever live 24-hour worldwide radio station. So Trent Reznor calls me up and says, I got it. This is what we're going to do. Let's build the first ever worldwide live radio station broadcast from 3 cities that plays music not based on research, not based on genre, not based on
Total Request Live.
Only music that is great. And
Not if Apple does it, Jeremy.
A station that has only one master, music itself. So I said, why do artists always have the greatest ideas that are practically impossible to execute?
I highly doubt this is the first ever 24/7 global station.
That's why we're at Apple. We're at Apple to help artists' dreams be realized. So we
This is
built
such
the
a
station.
weird announcement.
And it's a music lover's dream.
And then I said to her, hey,
any restrictions,
what's in the
you're gonna
bowl?
love Apple Music's Beats One. Finally Connect. A fantastic way for established and new and even unsigned artists to connect directly with music lovers anywhere.
What's the deal with all these artists?
This
They're
is gonna be
everywhere. They
very
got the best
powerful for
ideas.
musicians.
How is this different than
Imagine
iHeartRadio?
being an up-and-coming artist and being able to share your music
I
on
love
the
this
biggest
guy.
music platform in the world that people already have, Apple Music.
I want this guy to read
Remember,
Macbeth.
This is an ecosystem. It's built to fit together. It feeds off each other. When you upload your music to Apple Music, anything can happen. So now let me leave the real heavy lifting to my great friend Eddie Q and tell you how this all works together.
Thank you, Jimmy.
There comes
Great to
Eddie
be
the
here this
Cool
morning with
Q.
you. So Apple Music, it's a revolutionary music service, and it starts with My Music. We've added some great new features from iTunes, like the Up Next queue, and also your recently
What are we
added
guessing the
albums
price
and
is gonna be,
songs right
guys?
across the top, and all of the music you've
$10
purchased,
a month.
along with the playlist you've
$10.99.
created on your Mac or your iPhone, are right here. Now, of course, you can search your music library, but now you can search and stream
Library.
the millions
Not library,
and millions
library.
of songs that we have on iTunes.
So you're going to be in offline
Now,
mode?
in addition to My Music, when you can stream and listen to any song you want, you need a great place to start. And that's why we've created For You. For You recommends playlists and albums that we think you're going to love. They're personalized.
Listen, I like
to your
this.
taste
Integrate.
based on
I'm
the
all about
music you listen
integration.
to, the
I don't want
artists
to
you
download
love.
apps. I want the OS to do
And
everything
it
for
isn't
me.
just algorithms. It's recommendations made by real people who love music, and they're our team of experts. Now let's take a look at new. Here you'll discover new artists and albums every week, along with the top charts, and every one of our playlists, all human curated, available by genre or by activity. So when you think of Apple Music, it's My Music, For You, and New. It makes it fun and easy to experience the catalog of the
I think
world's
he needs to unbutton another button.
And that is the revolutionary music.
He needs to take his shirt off at this point.
Now let's talk
He's
about
on vacation.
The truth is,
Okay, let's hear about
internet
this.
radio isn't really radio. It's just a playlist of songs. And so we wanted to do something really big.
Oh,
We
God,
wanted to
here we
create
go.
a worldwide live radio station broadcasting around the globe. And we've done that with Beats One. It's the world's best radio station now needs the world's best voice. And that's why we've hired Zane Lowe. Zane is a masterful interviewer and an influential music figure in his own right. And to tell you more about it, here is Zane.
I'm a music fan. I play records. What I love is watching a group of people react to a great record for the first time. When I play that record on the radio, the audience tell me, the timelines light up. My friends tell me, my phone lights up.
He's a,
they love it.
He has a
or
show
they
called The
hate
Zane
it,
Lowe Show.
but
He's
it
from
creates debate.
the
That's what
UK.
good
He's
music on the
actually
radio
from New
does.
Zealand, but he's on
When Apple
BBC
first
One.
asked me to be involved in this, they told us to put the great music in front of the average. The unexpected,
Billy
the
Zane.
undiscovered, the anticipated, the underrated. Their words move the needle, and that's what we're doing. We have real music fans running this place. We have great music DJs and incredible artists who are in the studio right now building real radio shows that are going to blow your mind at the only place that can pull off an imaginative idea as big as this, Apple. We're called Beats One. We're always on, playing the music that we love.
So, Beats One, it's worldwide, it is live, it is broadcasting 24/7, and it is coming from New York, LA, and London. And that is radio.
Just add cool
Next,
cities.
We wanted to find a way to bring fans closer to the artists they love.
Paris,
We call it
France.
Connect.
Sydney,
It's
Australia.
a place where artists are free to upload their music, their videos, their photos, all directly to a fan. Let's take Pharrell, a favorite musician and
They
songwriter
tried this
of
with
mine.
Ping.
Now, he's prolific and
24/7.
does
It's a new
lot.
resolution
And
that
let me show you
Apple's
how it
streaming
works
in.
with Connect. He takes a lot of photos. He writes a lot of lyrics. He's experimenting and mixing songs all the time. Or he just has something new and interesting to say.
Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
But all of this lives right in Connect. Artists can post and publish and upload anything, including directly to Facebook, Twitter, and their own website, and fans can like and comment on those posts. And it's not just for one artist, but it's for all of the artists that you love. And to give you a little sense of what it's like to be an artist on Connect, I'd like to invite up a friend, Drake.
Oh boy.
Gonna talk about Degrassi.
Thank you. I want to say, honestly, what an honor it is to be in this room with so many individuals that have changed the way in which the world relates to technology. So give yourself a round of applause, please. For example, I bought this vintage Apple employee's jacket using a tool known in the rap world as the internet. It's going to be huge this year. It's out of this world. He's excited. He knows about it, that guy right there. No, honestly, in all seriousness, I came here today to share my story about the way technology changed what I do for a living. I'm from Toronto, Canada. And, you know, as a kid growing up, I always wondered if my city or even my country would have somebody break into the global music scene as a true superstar. You know, the dream seemed unattainable at the time. I mean, even myself, I tried to do it the traditional way, you know, the towering New York label buildings, the lobby littered with other people's accomplishments. It's improbable to think that every talented artist is going to get a shot to have their vision validated. And then that's when the game changed. And we had to change it. Myself and my team brought our vision and our music directly to the people. And that was kind of the
I'm guessing his celebrityhood
really
prior to being a musician
noticed.
had nothing to do with the fact that he got successful,
The
right?
dream of being a new artist like myself 5 years ago.
This is painful.
And connecting directly with an audience has never been more close and reachable than right now. See, now we encourage you to spend the time on your body of work. Spend the time on your craft. Assemble the right body of work. And instead of having to post your stuff on all these different and sometimes confusing places, it all lives in one very simple, very easy place, and that is Connect. It's right from where you are,
talking about Connect?
in your city, in front of your computer. And this approach is how we broke in 2008, and it has been perfected and simplified, of course, by the great people at Apple. So, you know, as I'm working,
by the way, it looks like
tirelessly on this
Drake is
next
wearing
album,
the gold Apple
this comes
Watch.
at the perfect time for me. Given the great success of my last mixtape that went directly to iTunes, this really...
Well, let me talk to you about how
I can't
successful
wait to
I am and how
incorporate
much more successful this is
Apple
going to
Music
make me.
and especially Connect into what I'm doing next. I'm really excited about what I'm working on. And as an artist, I can say, for all those kids sitting at home, it's truly amazing to be part of something that I believe in. And this is something that
that's what he's saying, isn't he?
simplifies everything.
Pretty much.
For the modern musician like myself and the modern music consumer like you. So I hope you enjoy Apple Music. I hope you enjoy Connect. My name is Drake, and thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Drake.
Thank you, Drake.
And that is Connect. Now, I'd love to give you a demo of Apple Music, but before I start, I do want to wish Phil Schiller a happy birthday. Oh! So let's go ahead and launch our new music app. You'll notice right away it's got a brand new UI, much simpler to use. Your recently added albums and songs right across the top. Let's play this new song from Spoon I added. One of the things you'll notice, we have a new mini player across the bottom that always shows you what's playing. And if I tap on it, I get full screen and I can see the beautiful artwork, all the playback controls.
Yep, so nothing different
I
there.
can just swipe down and it disappears. Now, I like looking at my music by artists. It's really easy to do that too. I'll just tap on albums, switch to artists, and let's take a look at Aretha Franklin. First thing you'll notice is we add beautiful artwork to all the artist pages. Notice as I swipe up, it goes away, and you see Aretha at the top. Now, no demo goes complete without playing this song. Now, you not only get all of your Aretha Franklin songs in your music library, but you can also tap on all.
I'm
And
surprised
now you can
he's
see
not
all of the
playing
songs
hip-hop.
on Apple Music, including the latest release, what the top song is, what the top album is. Now, it is hard to stop this song, but I want to keep going. Now, let's go back to my library, and let's take a look at my playlist. Now, despite the game last night, I'm getting ready for tomorrow night, and I've already started creating my playlist. One of the first things you'll notice is we can add your own artwork to your playlist. And I'm going to be doing this tonight, getting the Warriors ready. But let's go back. It is karaoke night. And these are some of the songs that our team has to look forward to tonight. Let's go ahead and play that. Just imagine.
Just imagine.
Now, if I tap on the mini player, I can see the full screen. If I tap on the right-hand side next to the playback controls, I can see the complete playlist, and it's very easy for me to reorganize it. Let's say I want to move Jealous
Why are you
back
playing
up,
the Monsters
and now that'll
theme?
be the next song that plays. It's that simple.
It's a
Now,
Is
that's
that a
great.
song? They made a
First, I'm gonna go
remix
for
of
you.
it?
we want to find out a little bit about your musical taste. And so we're going to ask you what genres you like. I'm a big fan of rock, pop, hip-hop, and alternative.
I'm sure
and,
that
now
he's a huge hip-hop fan.
Artists that I like. Well, I love Bruce Springsteen, so I'm going to
Yeah, it seems like the audience kind of...
I like Lord.
Kind of, they're finished with this.
And now we're going to take all of this information you provided along with all of your playlist and the songs that you purchased on iTunes, and we're going to make recommendations just for you.
The excitement is not there.
So here's one inspired
you can just
by
feel
Bruce
that there's no
Springsteen.
excitement there.
Here's one called Bring the Big Rock. Let's play that. That's a great Foo Fighters song. I can just tap and see the rest of the songs. Definitely going to like this playlist. Now here's another one from Pharrell. And I also get new albums that are available to me and even some classic albums that I should be listening to. And so here are some brand new albums from the artists that I really love. Now here's an interesting one. A Cuban playlist. You might be wondering, how did that get in there? Well, I like a lot of Latin music. And so Apple Music knows that, and it's recommending this playlist to me. Let's take a look at it.
I like that part, the fact that they'll recommend playlists.
Oh my God, he's dancing. Classic
Definitely
Eddie.
gets my Cuban blood going.
You know what this guy is?
Now, this is a
He is a
playlist I
classic.
definitely
I have
want to
so
see.
much money, I don't
So
give
I'm
two
gonna
shits
tap on
what
the
you
plus
think of
sign,
me.
And I've added
That is
down to
Eddie
my
Q.
playlist.
Tell us what you really think about Eddie Q.
That's exactly what he's
Let's
doing
take a
right
look at
now.
what's new.
Classic
You
Eddie.
can see new albums across the top. More here, and even the hot singles that are out. Let's play this one from Florence and the Machine. I can keep scrolling and see some recent releases.
He's so not into this demo.
But of course, everyone loves the charts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. See the top songs, the top albums.
Is that SpongeBob?
And even the top music videos. We have tens of thousands of music videos in HD, all ad-free. Let's take a look at this one from Mark Ronson.
No buffer, huh? All right, I'm gonna book the invasion angle with him in it.
I'm sorry, but this is just odd.
I got to work on some of those moves for next year. Now, sometimes you just want to sit back and let someone else be your DJ. And so let's go to radio. And to give you a little taste of what Beats One is going to sound like.
A hip-hop station?
We welcome our special guest, Florence from Florence and the Machine.
On paper, it sounds like super not how you think like a rock and roll album would be made.
I don't want to listen to any of these artists talk. I just want them to sing. I don't care to hear any of them talk.
People that love it in all corners of the globe, broadcasting to 100 countries. That shared experience just got so much bigger.
I agree with you. I don't want to hear somebody
really
talk.
awesome.
I just want music.
Well,
They're
let's
just
take
a bunch
look
of
at Connect
dum-dums
and see what some of
talking.
my favorite artists are up to. So here's Pharrell, some behind-the-scenes footage. Here's Chris Cornell. This is an interesting one. He's actually posted lyrics of a new song that's coming out before.
Okay, so
obviously
Connect
he's
is
even
basically
recorded it.
just Twitter for the artist?
Here's Bastille.
Yeah,
They're
I guess
working on
so.
their
How are
next
they
album.
feeding
Let's see
it?
what they have to say.
I mean, that's what this looks like.
Mark is just through here, and we're working on a song called Blame, which some of you might have heard at festivals or gigs before. But we're really excited to have finally recorded it. It's a song about gangsters. And yeah, this is the riff, which we're really happy with it. We think it's sounding great.
It's great to be able to get behind the scenes and see what the process that an artist uses to create a song. As we keep going down, here's a shot from Alabama Shakes
The
a
problem
couple
with that
nights
is
ago.
it's so manufactured.
And here's the studio session,
Yeah.
actually at Capitol Studio A. those of you that know, Capitol Studio is one of the premier studios in historical, and Alabama Shakes was just there a couple
I think
nights
there's
ago.
a very big difference between what they're showing in Connect, which is very much a manufactured experience,
and what you're getting on Twitter,
than something that's organic. And the artist generally.
Well, Apple, remember, they don't like organic.
Connect.
They don't want organic. They want more of a polished manufactured feel.
And edited.
Again, be able to see things you've never been able to hear or see. Lauren Kramer, you probably have never heard of him. He's
I
an
think you can
unsigned
kind of
artist.
tell
I
when an
just started
artist is
following him.
genuinely excited and wanting to connect with the
Yeah.
fan
And I'd love to play it.
versus what you're seeing with these demos on Connect.
I mean, this is what they tried to do with Ping.
Just imagine you're a new artist and look at all the people you've been able to hear this song right now thanks to Connect.
Don't go saying it's gone. Don't go saying you're done.
So Lauren Kramer, remember that name. We think he's going to be really, really huge. Now,
By
of
huge,
course,
we mean
you
he's
can
going to
always
put on
search for
about
music
60
across
pounds.
all of our
Not that
millions
he's going
and
to be a
millions
big
of
star.
songs. But I like to do a little bit of stuff with Siri, because Siri's been learning a lot more about music. Play Born to Run.
Play some Bruce.
It's one of my favorite songs of all time.
course
Let's
it
get a
is.
little more specific. Play the top 10 songs in alternative.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. I like Spotify's list,
If I
actually.
tap on the up next cue, I can see all of the top 10 songs.
They
and
just
what's
don't
next.
update it that quickly.
No, I mean,
Now, I feel like
I don't like
reminiscing a little.
Spotify playlist.
And let's go back to my high
There's
school
just
days
too many
when I
things, too many
graduated.
songs that I don't care about. Especially like if you
Play
go
the
try
top
to listen
song
to
from
any of
May
the
1982.
Top lists.
Yeah.
You know, top 40 or what's hot, what's top.
Oh, that's actually cool. So you put top songs in 1982. I like that, actually. This used to be in an Apple ad.
Now, that brings back some memories, but we'll leave that for another time. Now, have you ever gone to a movie and you love the soundtrack or the song that was on there, but you don't know the name, or you've forgotten about it later? Well, it's really easy with Siri.
Give me
Play the
every
song
Queen
from
Latifah
Selma.
song ever made.
Let's do that again.
I question how good this is actually going to work,
Play the
especially
song
with
from
newer
Selma.
movies.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh,
Play every song ever used on Grey's Anatomy when someone is dying.
So basically, they
And that
taught
is
Siri how to
Siri,
use
and
Wikipedia.
that is Apple Music. It is a revolutionary music service with recommendations just for you, a worldwide live radio station with the world's best DJs.
If
an
they
exciting
can
way for
really
fans
curate it to
connect
my
with artists.
musical
And of
taste
course, this is joined
and
by
weed
the
out
iTunes
any of the
Music
crap that I
Store,
really
the
don't
best
care
place
about.
to buy music.
Here we go.
That was one of the things I do
all
like
of the
about
ways you
Pandora
love
is the fact that I can
music
put
all
in a
one
couple of
place.
artists that I really like,
And we're launching
I'll
in
play
over
more
100
similar artists or
countries
similar
later
music.
this month
And it's great for
with
discovering
iOS 8.4
new artists that are
for
very
your
similar.
iPhone,
Hold on, we're getting the
iPod
price
Touch
now.
and iPad, as well as a new version of
June
iTunes for the
30th.
Mac, a new version of iTunes for Windows, and Android is coming this fall.
Oh, wow. That's a big story.
Now, Apple Music will be just $9.99 a month, the cost of an album. And we want everyone to try it, and so we're making the first 3 months free. Now, we want to do something really great for families. Today, you have to buy a music subscription for each and every person. or you share an account even though you're not supposed to, and now all of you can't play at the same time, and your playlists and recommendations get all messed up. Well, with Apple Music, for just $14.99, you can have up to 6 family members.
That's actually good.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
That's a definite competitor to Spotify right there.
Everyone gets their
Spotify
own
has a
account,
very
their own
similar
library,
feature.
their own recommendations. It's an incredible value. And that is Apple Music. Thank you. Turn it back to Tim.
Thanks, Eddie. Isn't that amazing? We really love Apple Music, and we hope that you do too. And we're so excited about it, and with all the countries we're rolling out to, we made a great ad to tell the world about it. And I'd love to run it for you now.
I mean, the fact that they're going to be on iTunes is really, I mean, that's a huge story for people who
on Android. You mean?
Yeah. For iTunes to be on Android, that's a humongous shift now.
But not Windows Phone.
But not Windows Phone.
I'm still skeptical on actually using this.
Someone should call help for her. Jesus Christ.
That poor girl.
That poor girl, nobody
Like they're
cares.
having a funeral for her.
Some ass is just filming her while she's having a meltdown.
I'm glad it's only $9.99 because I think that is one of those price points where, you know what?
Yeah, that's a good price point.
Maybe I would think about it.
For $15 a month, you get 6 family members. I mean, that's really good.
Yeah. If it was more than,
Music
you know,
connects with us all at
$9.99 a month, just no way I would even consider
couldn't
it.
be happier to launch Apple Music.
No matter how good it
We
was.
can't wait till you start listening to it at the end of the month.
But that's
This
just
has
me. I'm
been
a
jam-packed
very frugal
morning.
person.
I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. We want to thank everybody for joining us, especially the developers. And I'd like to recognize all of the people in Apple, all of our team that have worked so hard on making and creating all of these products you've seen this morning. Thank you, guys. It is an incredible privilege of a lifetime to work with them. Now, I've got one last thing. Before we go, it's only fitting
One more thing?
to celebrate the launch of Apple Music with an incredible music performance.
By Drake.
Screw you!
By one of the hottest new artists in music today. And it's not only a hot new artist, but he's going to do
It's going to be
a
that Lauren
worldwide
guy.
premiere of his newest song this
Who
morning.
is this?
Please give it up for The Weeknd.
Oh, they're not new.
You know what I tell the
These
weekend?
guys have been
Suck
around
it.
for years.
No, I don't care.
Are
How
you
about that?
kidding me?
So
Those
that
guys
was
have
it.
been around for at least 3-4 years.
Well, they're a hot new studly artist, John. And that was it. That was the Worldwide Developer Conference, the keynote. And we got a couple things. You know, overall, it was an entertaining event. No major changes. Multitasking, obviously, on the iPad is a big step forward. And just a bunch of little stuff. That's it. What did you think, John?
I'm not sure because there's parts that were, you know, they're okay. We finally got one more thing.
Yeah.
Then it was something that we already knew about.
Well, it's always.
I mean, I think
always
that was
coming.
kind of disappointing. The fact that there was finally one more thing, but it was a thing that everybody already knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody expected that.
Yeah.
So there was nothing new there.
So that was it. We're done.
That keynote from Eddie Q was just something else.
Classic Eddie. That's all I'm saying. Classic Eddie. I want to
It's a
thank
little
everybody that
painful.
joined us,
Him
that hung out with us.
Jimmy Iovine.
Yeah.
That was a little tough to watch.
That was a little tough to watch. I want to thank everybody that joined us and hung out with us over the past 3 hours, almost 2.5 hours. You go to our website, gfknetwork.com. You can subscribe to us. We're everywhere podcasts are available. You can follow me on Twitter @AndrewZarin. You can follow John @Suncast. And I will see you all next year. Goodbye.